Dean here, Dean 7904. If you want to get all technical on me, it's 3:00 Mountain Time. Shout out Mountain Time. We're still out here in Colorado. 5:00, of course, in the East Coast. I rounded down. I know it's 5:02, but hey, whatever, close enough. Why not? The intro took 30 seconds as well, and I guess you guys are gonna hear us in like 20 seconds. So maybe it's 5:03 at this point. It's an intimate show, at least to start the show. 13 game slate, not messing around, big boy slate. It's the Millionaire Show. Two-time millionaire winner, Chop. We got Andre Millionaire winner as well. Just going to be coming in a little bit late. He'll be knocking on the door soon enough. And then is Potts also on later? Yes. Dave Potts is on later during crunch time. Another two-time millionaire winner, as well as TJ. You got chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. Going to need him again tonight. Some not necessarily one game that's really standing out as far as weather, but a whole bunch we got to keep our eye on. If you look at the weather article, I'll go ahead and drop that in chat for the fine people that are lurking. What's up, chat? Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Chopper, it's just the two of us, at least for now, until Andre comes. We did it, Wednesday? Was it Thursday or Wednesday? We had a 5-gamer. We hammered for an hour and a half. So, this is not our first rodeo.
No. They call this professionalism. You just step in, do your job, handle your business, entertain the people, and you do it under whatever circumstances. Not everything's rosy, Dean. Not everything, that goes your way exactly as planned all the time. Sometimes you have to improvise. And right now, Drizzy's stuck in traffic. He's putting in his 30-team parlay tonight, and we got to step in and carry the load here for a little bit. No big deal.
Can I tell you the dumbest bet I've made so far in Colorado? I'm in sports betting. You want to hear the dumbest thing I've done? These are amateur moves. So, and I even victory lapped this. I was like, oh, that was so easy. I bet the Padres were facing some bad pitcher. It was Juan Soto's first game he was playing. First game was a Padre, narrative straight, yada, yada. But the matchup was good too. It was against Chad Kuhl. That's what it was against. And I bet the Padres, over 2.5 runs in the first 5 innings. I'm like, and it was plus 105 or minus 105. I'm like, this seems too good. They're going to hammer Cool 3 runs in 5 innings. If things aren't going great, the 5th inning, you're probably getting the meat of the order for a third time around. So they put up a 5 spot in the first inning. You remember this when Drury hit the home run, the grand slam? You know what I'm talking about? Chop, did I lose you? Am I just talking to myself? Are you back up?
Are you not able to see the video as we go? Because I can see you. I'm nodding my head in approval. I don't want to interrupt your story, but yes, I can hear you, Dean. I'm nodding.
Okay. I don't always watch the video. I keep an eye on it, but there's a bunch of windows up, that kind of thing. I didn't realize that. The point is that I was like, oh, that was the easiest bet in the world. We just needed 3 runs the first 5 innings. We knocked out 5. Let's cash this ticket. And it didn't cash. And I'm like, well, it's just still pending. And you check it and at night, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what's the holdup here? What's the problem? I check it the next day, 10, 11, 12 in the morning, whatever it was that time I woke up, still pending. And then eventually I see it's posted as a loss. I'm like, what up with that? I contact support and I get to this whole conversation. Apparently I bet the wrong day. The next day this was already up and the Padres got shut out. I didn't even know I had this money. So, there you go. There's that's an amateur hour stuff, but I guess that's why the line was too good. But why is that game posted before the first game is even starting? It had me on tilt for a little bit, but there you go. That's my story. That's the dumbest bet I've made so far.
It happens, Dean. It happens to everybody. I'm sure I've got a bunch of them like that, but I just don't remember them right now. But it happens. It happens.
Oh, man. Oh, I see Eric in chats. I did not pick him this week for the Beat Bean Dean contest. We'll be talking about that later on as well. That's going down today. Winner is going to be, well, if there is a winner. I'm undefeated, Chop. Not sure if you're aware of this. Putting the streak on the line. You just beat me in a head-to-head. Call me out. I happen to select you. You get yourself. We're going to bump it up. Every single week I win, we're going to add another week. So now we're at 5 weeks. 5 weeks free. RotoGrinders Premium. And I believe, God, I'm fairly certain of this. It includes obviously all the sports, not just the baseball, but I think it includes NFL preseason. We talked about it yesterday. We were pumping up a PSU fan, right? PSU fans 2. I guess 1 was taken. I don't know. His content for the preseason's going down. There was a showdown slate last night. I believe he binked it. I believe he finished first. And Jamino, I think also either on the podium or top 5. So yeah, the content team for preseason smashed last night. I just know that Josh Jacobs played a lot, and like that seems like a troublesome because that's usually not a good sign when you're playing a lot in the first game of preseason. But I mean, you didn't watch. I think we talked about this. You're not watching that nonsense, right?
I'm not watching the nonsense, Dean, but I'll say this much: with zero prior research or anything like that, I just kind of tailed these guys and their picks here at RG for that, just to throw something in, and I think I broke even, which is fantastic in a GPP when you have like literally no reason, like you've done nothing in terms of preseason NFL football, and you just take 2 minutes to build a couple teams and you end up breaking even. That's not a bad deal. It's kind of the quality of content here. So I'm happy with it.
My understanding is like it's one of the biggest edges. I mean, I know people are getting sharper when it comes to preseason, but I also saw somebody tweeting out there's like 25 some players that were like 25% owned that weren't playing, and like it was kind of sort of known they weren't playing. There's a lot of dead money in there as well. Like again, you got to stay on top of these things.
Yeah, there's probably I mean, you're right. There's edge and there's sharpness, and eventually those two worlds will collide, and they'll even out, and the edge will be gone. But for now, it's probably still a little bit of an edge out there, Dean. I don't know. I mean, it's all fun and games. What it really does, Dean, when you see the Hall of Fame game on a Thursday night in the NFL, what it really signifies is we're right around the corner from the good stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what we wait all summer for. That's what we wait for like 6 months for, is the good stuff. And we're almost there because you can, it's the change of seasons. You can sense it when the Hall of Fame game rolls in. So we got that going for us. Dean, big Friday night. I'm so stoked, man.
What are you running 150 on Fanduel? That's what you do.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, I wasn't even talking about DFS, but yeah, I'll do. And I'm gonna do the RG single entry thing. So we got all that going on. That's all fun. But man, finally got a movie out there that I want to watch. That's on it's on Hulu, but it's on one of the streaming services. Finally, a good movie because I've been waiting for a while for one to come out that I want to see.
Okay,
I'm anxious on this one.
What is it?
It's called Prey. It's another movie in the Predator series. I love that franchise of movies. I'm a big fan of the Predator stuff, so I'm looking forward to this one. Prey on Hulu tonight.
Didn't the Predator face off against like Alien many years ago? Was that a thing? Is that in the series? Are we including that?
I don't think that's technically in the Predator franchise, but it is within the series. You're talking about, there was 2 Alien Predator movies. One was Alien versus Predator Requiem, where it took part in Antarctica. Now that was a good one, but the follow-up to that one was not so good. I don't like that one. The Alien versus Predator Requiem was a good one. I like that one. I was entertained by that one. So I also liked the one I didn't like for Predator was part 2 back in like 90 with Danny Glover. Not a big fan of that one, but the other ones were pretty good. One of my favorites was when they all got dropped off on the planet. The mercenaries and the bad guys got dropped off on the planet, and the aliens and the predators hunt them down. That was a pretty good one. Have you noticed, Dean, that as these things go on, like they get more and more of a star-studded cast in there for these things? Like they get some good. Like people want to be part of this franchise. It's a big deal. Like the Fast and the Furious.
Well, I mean, Schwarzenegger's not in this one, I assume, right? I assume he's not partaking. I don't know if he was in the original Predator, correct?
He was the original Predator Face Off, yes.
And also, like Jesse the Body, wasn't Jesse Ventura in that? And also the
he was in the original, yes.
Carl Weathers.
Apollo Creed was in there. Yeah, it was a good one. That was the one that set it all up. It was a good stuff.
Yeah, I don't really I never really followed the Predator series, but I know it exists. I'm aware it's a thing, and well, you know what? I'm glad that people are happy. I think the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie comes out on. we have 2 different worlds, obviously. The new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, I think, comes on Amazon Prime tonight, so I want to watch that. Boogie Nights, big Paul Thomas. There Will Be Blood, 2 of my favorite movies of all time. PTA, you a fan? You aware of his existence?
Which one is he in Boogie Nights?
Well, he's the writer-director. He
Oh.
wrote and directed Boogie Nights at like 26, which is incredible.
Oh, he's the director. Okay, What's this about then?
What?
Give me the lowdown on the new movie.
I think it's like a coming of age, and it's like a little bit more of a smaller film. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I think it's debuting tonight on Amazon. But I'm excited.
Dean and his coming of age films. It's
Licorice Pizza. It's called. Have you heard of it? I think it was up The Master with the Master with Philip Seymour Hoffman, Joaquin Phoenix, incredible movie. Hard 8, gambling movie. Nothing. This doesn't do anything for you.
These aren't jumping off to me.
You've seen Punch Drunk Love, and you're probably upset that it wasn't as funny as you wanted to be.
I'm not even sure I've seen that one.
Really? This Adam Sandler? You seem like a Sandler guy. No?
I am a Sandler. Sandler was pretty good, but I don't. Punch Drunk Love sounds like one of his more.
It's a serious role, more serious.
Yeah, I'll hard pass. I don't need to see Sandler being serious. I mean, give me some Billy Madison and that kind of stuff, but I don't need to see him be serious, man.
I mean, maybe it's a weird take, but I think he's much better actually in serious roles. That movie he did.
I'm sure you do.
The recent movie was kind of sort of somewhat serious, right? The one with Bo Cruz, Juancho Hernandez Gomez. I'm sure you saw that.
I wouldn't call that one a dramatic role. That was more of a sports movie. That was a legit sports movie.
He was dramatic in that movie. It wasn't like a straight like comedy, like goofy stuff going on. Like that was in the old school.
Whew.
No,
we are. I mean, I liked it, but the serious Sandler, I hard pass on that one.
So here's the one. We'll move on, but here's the one that like anybody who watched this movie, either you really liked it or you really hated it. There's very few people in the middle. It's a serious role. Uncut Gems.
Okay. What about it?
What is your take?
I still need to rewatch it a second time. First time was okay. It was very, very niche. Like if you're not a gambling in that world, that space, I can't see how you would have liked that. But I mean, I was entertained by it because I am in that space. I do get it. But if you're not in that space, I could see how you could just turn that thing off and not really think twice about it. But I need to rewatch it a second time before I give a real opinion on it.
I saw it in the theaters. I just remember it being a really stressful ride. You're just stressful watching it. I see Kirkwood in chat. I think Kirkwood said like it reminded him of him like in his relationship. It was too close to home, I think, which wasn't like his wife, fiance. I think it's fiance, girlfriend. Not certain. My apologies. I guess she like was basically Sandler was playing out the real life story of Kirkwood to some degree. KG was good in that too. Rain on Me, also a good serious Sandler movie with Don Cheadle, which not many people have seen, but that's worth seeing as well. Hey, Chop, we got a big boy slate, 13 gamer, not messing around, and I did see Devin in chat was talking about. Oh wait, hold on, this is something else. I thought he was talking about the single entry series, but we're doing a special. Learn this on the fly. YouTube chat contest, $5 to enter. Oh, you know what? We did this last week. Devin did it last week with DK, or maybe earlier this week. The days are all kind of stuck together. It might have been Monday. $5 to enter. First place gets a week free of RotoGrinders Premium, which is, can't put a price on that. And bragging rights. Can you put a price on that, Chop? I don't know. Go ahead and enter that. There's a link that's dropped in chat. We'll hook you up with a week of RG Premium. I'm going to enter as well, too. Sure, why not? I got the premium, and if I happen to bink it, if I take it down, whoever finishes second. How about that? There you go, Chop. Jump in there. Or you're playing your 150, and this is going to mess up your script.
Nothing can mess up the script, Dean, but where's the link at? I don't even know.
It's in the chat.
Oh, Fanduel. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can. I'll see if I can get in there.
Yeah, and the single entry series that rolls on, I believe they're both still available. Last I checked, they've not sold out just yet. We've been talking about it all week. Where have you been? If you're not, if you haven't been playing it all week, the added value is gone. You're not going to win the top 4 scores if you're just playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or just Friday. That's unless you put up 2,000 points somehow, and it's a unique lineup. Probably not likely. But yeah, you guys know how that's going down. $50,000 added value. RotoGrinders sponsored Fanduel single entry series. You finish first amongst your top 4 scores throughout the week. You get yourself a trip to Chicago. You enter a contest as $50K, $10K up top, and I think it's just the 8 people that finish first in each tier, the $2 tier and the $100 tier going down this week. All right, Chop, give me the assessment as far as this slate because, man, there's a I don't know. I'll yield to you. I have a thought and I have a as far as this slate, but I want to see what your take is first.
It feels like there's a couple of star pitchers that stand out above everybody else. It's going to be hard for me to get off of those guys. And there's several spots in there for some offense. It's a 13 game or so. Lots of stacking possibilities. I don't think there's a lot of great pitching options though. So it's a two men and everybody else, and lots of great stacking options to me. So we can talk about those guys if you want to.
Yankees lineup just came out. LeMahieu, Judge, Rizzo, Torres, Donaldson, Carpenter, IKF, Trevino, Benintendi's now buried in the 9 hole there. That's interesting. Cardinals came out. I missed that one, but it looks pretty standard to me. Carlson, Edman, Goldie, Arenado, Pujols, O'Neill, DeYoung, Molina, and Nootbaar. Yeah, especially on DK, man. What is this? I know Robbie Ray has scuffled his last 2 starts, both against your Astros, but why is Taijuan Walker more expensive than him? Why is Tony Gonsolin more expensive? Why is Sean Manaea more expensive? He's 8.9K against the super horrendous Angels. First of all, can we forgive Ray? We're not freaking out. We can forgive him. He got beat up by the Astros, a pretty good baseball club. The Angels are not good. So the ownership's going to be there, which is the only issue, I suppose. But give me your thoughts as far as Ray. You think it'd be over or under? Because I think, despite the fact it's going to be a big number, I'm probably going to be over it. I don't care.
Way over on Robbie Ray. It's too good of a matchup, Dean. When you look around some of the projection systems, specifically Derek Carty, the best one out there, is going to project him around over 8.5 strikeouts tonight. And I get it, and I agree. And when you look at sports books, they're giving him a very hefty strikeout total, which you don't see that often, 7.5 or more at most of these sites. And so that tells you something. And yeah, it's a bad lineup, and he can be a good strikeout pitcher when he gets it rolling. This is a good matchup for him. I'll be way overweight on that.
Yeah, the Angels are terrible. They don't strike out as much versus lefties. So, like, if you're looking for a knock, like Fletcher's not a good hitter, but he's a contact guy, 216 at-bats, just 5.6% strikeouts. That's not ideal. Kind of annoying. Rengifo, same thing, 15.8% higher, obviously. This isn't the projected lineup. We don't officially have the lineup out there. You're going to get Ohtani, their best hitter, left on left. Walsh, one of their better power guys, also left on left. He might not even crack the lineup. That Moniak would be beautiful to see in there. That the former number 1 pick, who's been kind of a disaster, they just traded for. But it's not going to be good. Like whatever this lineup is, Adele probably cracks it. He's got some power, but certainly holes in his swing. But yeah, that price is just, man, it is pretty goofy. And then you're talking about 2 pitchers. I assume the other pitcher you're talking about is Dylan Cease, right? And it's not hard. It's really not hard. And I assume other people see this. I'm curious, like, what optimals are spinning out with how cheap the Royals are. Like, is it super obvious? I know you're focusing on Fanduel, but I'm sure you're messed with DK as well. Is it super obvious to play Ray and Cease and then some Royals? Is that like a super obvious thing?
Royals?
Well, they're really cheap. So you got Vinny Linguini.
I ain't worried about it. Do we really need to worry about cheap tonight? Like, there's so many. There's 13 games, 26 teams, plenty of hitting spots out there. There's plenty of cheap options out there, right? I don't think you need it to be the Royals.
Well, if I'm going double barrel with Cease and Ray, then I got 3.8 to play with on DK. And there are, Alvarez is 5.7, Schwarber's 5.4. Acuna's 5'1", and there's a lot of pricey guys like Goldie's, I think, over 6K. Aaron Judge is 5'9" on DK. He's like 5'5" on FanDuel. That price just keeps going up. So eventually there's salary cap stuff comes into consideration. If you're going double barrel, there are some cheap guys we'll talk about to make this stuff easier. But yeah, it's reasonable. Like, I understand what you're saying. You're going to be able to find, if not Royals, cheap guys on some teams. They're not going to be great, but they'll make stuff work.
Yeah. So you're talking about DraftKings, correct?
Yeah.
So you're talking about DraftKings, and
we'll talk both.
Okay, well we'll talk a lot of DraftKings here first. Let's get it cranked up with some DraftKings. I would say that to your point, Ray Cease, and then having 3-8 left over. Like I look at a team like the Phillies. You mentioned, Schwarber's expensive and Rio Multo's expensive.
Yeah.
But after that, look at the rest of that lineup. We're getting everybody under 4K just about, with the exception of Gene Segura, which I don't need to play him anyway. But everybody else is under 4K, so I can stack the Phillies with that, and I like the Phillies more. Or there's other teams out there too. There's all kinds of stacks to go. If you think, I don't know what we think of Brian Garcia, the Detroit pitcher tonight, but the Rays are really cheap. I mean, they're number 5 hitters, 2.1. David Peralta's in the lineup tonight, 3K. Like there's, with the exception of 2 guys, Lau and Rosarino, there's cheap ones. You get what I'm getting at here. I'm not really worried about stacking KC just because they're cheap tonight. I think I can find a lot of cheap stacks out there, and they're all going to be like this Maz multi-entry. You just put your like button on those 2 pitchers and then stack, just get you 10% of whatever stacks feel good to you out there and spread it out if you want to.
Most alarming as far as weather, I just went and dropped this link in chat again for the people, is Baltimore, which is yellow-orange, which isn't crazy alarming necessarily. Again, Roth will be on in about an hour or so, let you guys know what's going on. Philly, once again, but not nearly as dicey, green-yellow, yellow-green as far as the Mets. Everything else seems perfectly fine, as of right now, subject to change, yada, yada. Is that your plan, by the way? You're playing on Fanduel, you're running your 150. Are you just going to play 2 pitchers, and that's that, and get different with bats and just embrace variance as far as hitters? Is that the idea, or you're going to have your pool beyond 2? Because that's, I get it. It gives you a lot of bullets as far as teams.
No, there'll be a couple extra pitchers in there, and we'll get into them here in a minute. Because I think there's some things I'm looking forward to seeing how it pans out.
Well, what is that? You waiting for ownership? You waiting for lineups to come out?
So Cease and Ray are easy money, right? Like we talked about Robbie Ray, that matchup. Dylan Cease has been the best pitcher in baseball now for a month and a half. Crazy how good he's been, right? Like
he's been awesome, yeah.
Yeah, he's been incredible. So you got that. So it's hard to get away from that. But one guy that I was looking at, cheaper option that I'm interested in, is Dean Creamer, the Coffee Creamer. We call him Coffee. That's his new nickname. Dean Creamer.
Like Seinfeld, just so you know.
Dean, don't get in the way of a good nickname.
If you want to do the coffee bit, by all means, go for the coffee
pronunciation. Don't let it get in the way of a good bit. All right, listen. Dean Coffee Creamer.
Seinfeld's a good bit. Well, go ahead, continue.
Here's the thing about him, right? So he's kind of average on the surface, but when you dig into the numbers, he's kind of a reverse splits guy a little bit. Look at his strikeout rate against left-handed hitters. It's significantly higher in his young career than it is right-handed hitters. He strikes out lefties at a 25% clip. I mean, lefties, yeah. So that's a really good number. Well, look what Pittsburgh tailor-made set it up for him tonight. They put 6 left-handers going to face off against him tonight. So if there's ever a time he's going to rack up some strikeouts to go along with some run prevention, this has got to be it for him. So I'm interested, and I want to take a stab at that. So I got a feeling he'll be super low owned and have a chance at a good game, and he should be. I haven't looked at DraftKings salaries, but he should be a lot cheaper than those other guys.
Yeah, large reverse split, like you said, which is worth pointing out. I haven't considered him, to be honest, but now, okay, the Pirates are bad. So the Pirates are terrible against lefties, but you'd have to think if they're facing a reverse splits righty, they're probably terrible against them too. They're just bad in general. He's actually 6'6" on DK. Let's pull up the plate IQ. Let's see what you're looking at.
That's nice. Typically, what you want on DK is a really good SP1, and then you want to save a little money at SP2. So that works.
So this this Pittsburgh lineup, Chop, 25.2% striking out collectively. The lowest strikeout guy on this team is Kevin Newman, who I'm fairly certain Kevin Newman used to be like a pest. He used to be one of those annoying guys who was like a 10%er. Let's see if I extend it back to last year. This is gonna go lower. It's not a huge sample. He's been hurt a lot this year. Yeah, so if you extend back to last season, Newman 11.4%. He's also terrible. Like he's He's not going to homer. He's going to ground out. He's going to pop out, that kind of thing. And Reynolds is better as far as not striking out, but still 23.3%. And as far as the splits, like you referenced, 196 at bats. That's a sample we have. It's not a monster sample dating back to last season, but 25% strikeouts. Like, he gives up power, much more so to righties, like 239 as far as the ISO. How many lefties are we looking at? 1, 2, 3. It's a bunch, right? Is that six?
Six. And also, like, I think we all think Brian Reynolds is probably the best hitter in the lineup, and I agree with that. Who's the second best? Probably Brian Hayes is your second best hitter in this lineup, right?
And he's been a disaster. Like,
he's been terrible against left-handers. So, like, there's no punch. Not only is there a lot of strikeouts, outside of Brian Reynolds, there's really no punch in the lineup either. So this really sets up well for Creamer. My man Coffee Creamer.
Newman's got a 78 ISO, which is dreadful, versus right-handers. And Mercado, who's leading off, has an ISO over 100 as well. Man, I haven't considered Creamer, but I think he's like in the mix and as an SP2 on DK. And we'll talk about the ones that are going to be more popular, like pitching for Philadelphia tonight. I'm losing his name in my head for some reason. It's Kyle somebody, right?
Gibson?
Kyle Gibson. Why could I not get there? I had a total brain fart, but I think he's going to be the one of the SP2s that people play. Let's go ahead and just pull up ownership stuff. We'll take a peek at that. But I like that call, Chop. The chat was saying his nickname is Cream Rises. That's what they say apparently.
I don't know. People are just making things up now.
That feels like something gets made up, but you never know. Every once in a while, I call the chat liars, and then I stand corrected. But this is important stuff to know, or at least they said that's what the announcers say, I guess, when he does something well. Let's give a refresh as far as the ownership. And again, I never really know, do we show the bad ownership, or do we show the MLB plate IQ ownership? It's going to be pretty similar. Let's jump at Fanduel first as far as ownership and giving a refresh. We're coming up here. So 59% of the 100% of it that's available that we're having right now is Robbie Ray and Dylan Cease. Ray at 37%, Dylan Cease at 22%. Then Kyle Gibson, 7K. He's not great, but he's facing a Washington lineup that's obviously pretty punchless these days. I think they're reasonably contact heavy. 21.7% the last two seasons. That's about league average, I suppose. Gibson, obviously not a great strikeout guy, 20% in the last 2 years. That's the number 3 guy as far as ownership. But yeah, Kramer is a pivot away from that. If we're just kind of scrolling down, like Gibson's 8%, right? Your boy Framber, like, he's good, but he's just kind of expensive. You don't really want to face Cleveland when you're trying to pile up some strikes. So 3-4% is the ownership on him. Lauer, good matchup against Cincinnati. The K's are kind of fraudulent. He had some big starts earlier in the season. They've kind of dipped of late. Talk me through this, because 37% Ray, 21%, 22% Cease on FanDuel. It sounds like you're going to be there, if not beyond that. Well, what's going to fill out the rest for you?
I mean, you mentioned some guys there. And, there's only so much you can do on FanDuel with only one pitcher. But I think, I don't have anything to add to that. Corey Kluber, Taijuan Walker are still in my player pool, but doesn't mean they're going to be on a team. I don't know. It just Kluber's kind of interesting. Taijuan, I just think that's a pitching battle tonight, so that's why he stays in there. But he probably won't get any ownership from me. And Framber's still on the list just because, he's a threat to get a complete game at any time. Like, he's kind of good like that.
Is it 17 straight quality starts? Is that what I read today in Dave's article?
Yeah.
And I think he almost lost it last game. Didn't he give up 3 runs in the first inning, and he totally recovered? It was incredible.
He gave up 3 runs on some weak contact in the first inning and bounced back and didn't give up another run the rest of the game and kept that streak intact. But he's been going deep into games this year, so 9 innings. Doesn't he have 2 complete games? I think he's trailing Alcantara for the most complete games in the major leagues. Alcantara, I think, is at 3 or 4.
Yeah, you bet total number of outs, on pitchers. Like his number is set like at 20.5 or 21. It's like he's at the highest number of anybody else. It's pretty crazy. And it's too bad he's just kind of rotting away there in Miami.
Yeah, they should have traded him, man.
You know how they got him? They got him in the Marcell Ozuna trade from St. Louis. He would look nice in St. Louis, wouldn't he? Where's STL cards lurking? I'm pretty sure like that's where he came from. I think he was on the Cardinals. He was kind of a throw-in. I don't know if he was the number one guy in that deal when Ozuna got traded to the Cardinals. Yeah,
I don't know. That's a good trivia. Somebody look that up for us. But yeah, he's awesome, man. So yeah, Framber's in that territory where he can get those 9 innings for you and rack up the innings, which in turn gives you more opportunities for strikeouts and all the other good stuff. So, and other than that, yeah, I don't like a whole lot else. I mean, I don't even have guys in my player pool like Ian Anderson, Sean Manaea, Jose Barrios.
Revenge game.
I know, but it's too many options tonight. I don't want to mess. Although I might plug in some. I might. Yeah, you know what? I got it. You're right, Dean.
Who did I talk you into?
Jose Barrios, revenge game.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't making a point. I was just pointing out that's what.
No,
I don't
but
know if he's angry or vengeful.
He is talented, so I got to give him the arm talent. And Minnesota's not can be not great. I need to update. Can we get a refresh on Kevin Roth's weather edge? Because I know earlier we only had a sample of 3 games for the weather out there. I don't know if that's changed, if the weather's hit a pattern where there's a lot more, but just a little sample. Maybe this is some good pitching weather. I'm not sure. So,
I'm working my way down, Chop. We have some fire emojis. Big sample, too, in Philadelphia. 162 games is a fire emoji there. 18% bump in homers, 87 degrees as far as the temp. The dew point's at 73. Shout out Kirkwood. 6 miles per hour to dead center. We also have a fire emoji as far as the Mets, 86 degrees, wind blowing out basically to center, left center at 8 miles per hour. And a big sample, 295 games, 22% bump in homers. Of course, the baseline is not huge because it's not this great homer park. Fire emoji in Kansas City, despite that, not a huge bump in homers at all. Just actually a slight dip, 0.4%, but a bump in runs at 15%. Some good hitting weather all around. And you're right. The question you asked about was Minnesota. There is a fire emoji. There's a downgrade of 35% homers, but that's nonsense. That's fraudulent because it's a 5-game sample, and that means nothing. We know nothing would happen in those games. Who was pitching, who was hitting, yada, yada. Additional fire emoji in St. Louis, 88 degrees there. Not that Aaron Judge needs it, but yeah, I guess he could use it, I suppose. So some good hitting weather out there, and nothing freaking me out as far as precipitation just yet. Roth, of course, will clarify that soon enough. You know, we're supposed to like anybody that's holding a baseball and throwing a baseball from the right hand that's facing Detroit. How do we feel about the Klubot?
He's interesting, Dean. He's interesting with this. I mean, the team total, 3.3, 3.4, depending on what book you're looking at. That's super low team total. You know, his underlying numbers this year are okay. You know, slightly over a 4 on the xFIP. The K rate about 23% or so. So he's okay. He's okay, and he's got this matchup. So he remains on the list because he's interesting like that. Don't know if I'll end up getting to him on FanDuel, but for certain, where I need 2 pitchers on DraftKings, he's gonna be in the player. He's gonna be in my lineup, some of my lineups.
One of his issues is he's old and they don't push him too hard, right? As far as his pitch count, you know, last time 89, he's going to get somewhere in the mid 80s. And he did kind of have an outlier game last game against, of all teams, Cleveland, as far as strikeouts, 10 strikeouts. Previous to that, though, 2, 3, 7, 5, 1, 6. I did bet this one in the middle of the night. I laddered it up as far as Kluber. I can't remember what his number was. Might have been 5.5 or so. Got Ray. I got Kluber. I think that was it as far as betting the ladders for pitchers. And again, firing up the plate IQ, Chopper. Look how bad this Detroit team. It's not even that they strike out a lot. They have no power, and they just have no skills against them. It's horrendous. It's all red.
I mean, that's yeah. If you kind of been paying attention this year, then you don't even have to look at plate IQ. You just know Detroit against right-handers. That's something. Yeah, that's something we can attack.
Disaster. Your boy Kirkwood in chat. I think I know what he's referencing now. I'm checking out what's going on in the chat. Haven't peeked in on him in a while. They were talking about Rounders earlier in the show. You're a fan of Rounders. We can agree on that, right? It's a solid movie.
Excellent.
Yeah. KGB, you get the Orioles going. You have a friend like Worm in real life?
What's up, everyone?
Oh, hey, Dre's here.
What's up, Andre?
What's going on?
Whoa.
Sorry
Dre
about
made
that.
it.
We're talking about Rounders. This is important stuff, Andre. Have you seen Rounders before?
No. Never.
What?
Do you like poker? You like gambling movies?
Oh, well, I like gambling movies, definitely. I just haven't seen that movie called Rounders.
Yeah, check it out. There you go. Me and Chop, we don't agree on a lot. Like the Venn diagram is almost 2 circles, but we do agree, Chop, that Rounders is a movie we can endorse.
Rounders is great. Yeah, I would definitely recommend Rounders if you haven't seen it. But
What year was it made in? The 90s?
2000?
Oh, okay. I'll watch it. I'll check it out, see how it is.
yeah, it's good. As
Thank
to
you.
Dean's question, do I have a worm in real life? Yeah, there's a couple I would put in that category.
Yeah, I think everybody's got a worm, right? It's just like, you just can't shake them, I suppose. Kirkwood says, can we play the big dumper at catcher? Now we're on pitchers right now. But I feel like, Chop, you know who he's alluding to. I have a guess who the big dumper may be, but this seems like a Chop question. Do you know who can you play the big? You know who the big dumper is, and can you play this person?
I do not know who the big dumper is. Clarify that for me, Dean.
I don't know either, but my guess will be Alejandro Kirk. I don't know.
No way. There's another nickname for Kirk.
Andre, who's the big dumper? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Vogelbach? It's got to be somebody with a big caboose, right? That's
I would assume it might be Vogelbach.
Yeah.
It would have to be Vogelbach if it was me.
It can't be Alejandro Kirk because he's not in the lineup, so I don't know. See TJ in chat. TJ is going to be bringing his Spidey bombs on crunch time, less than an hour or so. Before TJ pesters you guys and begs and grovels and all that nonsense, knock it out of the way. Let's just hit that like button, subscribe if you like, turn on notifications with the like button. That's the least you can do. If you appreciate the content, hit the like button and just chill for the next, hour and a half plus, taking you guys straight up to lock. Andre, we were just talking pitchers. Not going to have you run through the whole thing, but if you have any strong takes, any big takes, any of your favorite pitchers, any bold fades, what are we looking at?
Well, my pitching pool, because I was on the Fanduel Friday show earlier today, with shout out to TJ, me and him, were able to do that earlier. So, my pool hasn't changed really since. It's Robbie Ray, Dylan Cease, Kyle Gibson, and maybe Patrick Sandoval, but really just mainly just at least those 3 right now that I'm gonna be focusing on and going with.
Talking about Gibson, because he's going to be reasonably owned. On FanDuel, I don't know, because if you trust our ownership, we're basically saying it's the first 2 guys, and then Gibson might be like 8% or whatever. On DK, I'm pulling that up now. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my lineup HQ for some reason. I'm not sure if this is my end, if it's a site thing. I'll give it a refresh. I guess that Gibson's going to be the most popular, like cheap SB2. He is 7K on DK, and I'm going to jump off this for some reason because it's throwing me a curveball. I'm going to refresh it and see what we look at. But, yeah, Andre, your thoughts on Gibson. I assume it's not because you think he's especially spectacular. It's more of a bet against Washington's offense.
Yeah, bet against Washington's offense because, they pretty much don't have no one besides, like, Voit, I would say, in their lineup. That really is a concern and something you have to worry about. And they're all in the strikeout rates are high for 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 of those guys have a high strikeout rate. And towards the bottom of the lineup, they got guys in there that have a low strikeout rate. But I'm confident that Gibson can get a couple of these guys out for sure. And give you a good enough score where you might not necessarily need to get Robbie Ray or Dylan Cease unless they have a perfect game. And those guys are too also very capable of getting blown up, in my opinion, too, as well. So Cease not as of late, but Robbie Ray definitely.
Okay, I think I know who it is. I think I know who the big dumper is, Chop, because Kirkwood gave us a clue. He said big dumper is batting 6th tonight. I don't know if you've taken a look and seen who's batting 6th tonight. I have a guess. Well, yeah, I don't know. I got a guess.
Kyle Raleigh, I believe.
Yeah, is he the big? I was thinking.
Oh man, Dean! I tell you what.
Yeah.
His actual nickname is the Big Dumper, Kyle Raleigh.
Is that for real?
That is a for real nickname. What is it, man? How do you self-approve that nickname?
I don't think that's how nicknames work because they're just kind of anointed, right? I don't know if he's typing it out.
So like At what stage of life? Okay, here's the thing about nicknames. So you get a nickname when you're younger. Let's say you get one when you're younger, right? But you're constantly throughout your years, you're changing school. You're going from elementary to junior high to high school to college, and you're an athlete and you got this nickname. What if you don't approve of your nickname? At what point? Or what if you have a nickname? Like, how do you continue that nickname? All your high school friends call you a really cool nickname. Then what happens when you get to college?
How do you
get to college? You're supposed to introduce yourself. Like, that's weird. But what if you have a nickname that you don't like? Then you can ditch it in college. Like, man,
easy.
Like,
yeah,
like that. So the big dumper. At what point did that come around? Because you should have had to ditch that a long time ago.
I didn't know he was the big dumper, but okay. You ever have a nickname, Chop or Andre? Is there one that you? I mean, obviously Chop's not your real name, to my knowledge, but that was self-anointed, I believe.
No.
Oh. You didn't
Chop.
like when you filled up for
Chop is just it was short for head chopper. People just started calling me that. I didn't give myself the name Chop.
Oh, okay. How about Andre? Oh, well, is Drizzy? Is that somebody gave that to you? Is that something you inherited?
It's like a little bit of both, I guess, in a way. Like, because like I obviously listen to a lot of hip hop music, and obviously Drake's his nickname back in the day was still probably Drizzy. So, it was a play on that. But I grew up, my name was really like Dre Boogie because I was from the Bronx. So the Boogie Down Bronx, Dre Boogie makes sense. So that was the main thing that was really called when I was growing up a lot.
I'm excited about it. Does the bat, you think, move? Does it factor that in, that Kyle Raleigh's nickname is the big dumper? Like, does he incrementally get bumped up as far as projection? I wonder if Cardi's aware of this. But yeah, this is breaking news to me, and it's probably been his nickname for a while. But I wonder if they call him that in the broadcast. I don't listen to a lot of Seattle broadcasts. What else do we have here as far as pitchers before we kind of move on and talk about the hitters, talk about stacks, all that good stuff? It's, again, sort of a mishmash. You got a Lauer take, Andre? Where are you at as far as Eric Lauer? Because he's getting a big ownership percentage on DK. If you're going to trust this before I hit refresh, I'm seeing 25%, which is a pretty big number.
Yeah, like I don't know about him. Like, I want to play him, I really do. But the price, I mean, the matchup, I mean, it's a little tough. With that line, well, with the top half of the line, the bottom half is not that bad, but it's still, I don't know. I'm indifferent on him, I guess you can say. It's the right word to put. I kind of want to play him, but then I don't. Like, the price point, like of 9.7 on Fanduel, is kind of like, at that point I could spend $300 less to go to Robbie Ray. You know what I mean? Or if I really, really wanted to take a chance on someone, I could go up a little bit more and go with Valdez. I know Cleveland, which is a tough matchup for him too, but he doesn't give up a lot of. He's not a fly ball pitcher, if I'm correct about Valdez. So to me, it's I don't know. Like, I probably won't play him, honestly. I probably won't play him, and like, I'd rather just, like I said, probably get more to like Valdez because he gives up a lot of ground balls more than fly balls, and go that route of anything, in my opinion.
We typically get bombarded with naked HD in chat spammed. Today it's Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin still a thing? Has it been up? Has it been down?
Oh, it is way down. It is.
Have you partook? Do you have some?
I don't. No. I wanted to get in, but then I was like, yeah, no. Nah.
Chop, you a Bitcoin guy?
I mean, I have some Bitcoin. Just had to get some for fear of missing out, But I never really understood it, and I'm gonna lose money on it if Bitcoin just went away and just shut down, like, evaporated into the thin air. I'd lose some money, but you know what? I'd kind of also be happy with losing that money because I didn't have to listen to these guys talk about it anymore. It just seems so fraudulent and so weird, and I don't get it, but so it is what it is, Dean.
Process versus results. By the way, Robbie Ray on DK, almost 52% ownership. Like, again, that price is goofy. The matchup is good. There's not a lot of other pitchers to feel great about. Traditionally, Robbie Ray is not a comfortable pitcher to roster at 52%, but here we are. Hopefully he's got his tight pants on, and he strikes out 10 of those Angels, and Man, it's a little uncomfortable, Chop. But again, I think I'm going to be there. I feel like I'm going to be there because the alternatives are not spectacular.
Who are you talking about? Robbie Ray?
Yeah.
Robbie Ray in his tight pants, yeah.
Yeah,
Have you seen his? You've seen how tight his pants are, right? I mean, this is
not particularly.
You can't help but notice this. This is.
I don't watch a lot of Seattle games, and I'm certainly,
not paying attention to the pants.
I know, man.
He's famous for wearing really tight pants. I think that's a thing.
Is Dean over there bulge hunting?
Jesus, it's more so from the back.
Whoa there.
I don't know how tight they are in front. I don't know how snug that is, but it's the back. It's like the seams are bursting. When they zoom in on the the pitcher cam from like center field, you'll notice this. This is a thing. I'm not making this up. Maybe we can get producer Steve. Steve.
Please don't, man.
Just find a picture of Robbie Ray. Just Google Robbie Ray tight pants and put it on the screen. I want to be justified. This is a thing. There you go. Steve's all over. Look, he's zooming in. Is he sweating? Is that what's going on there? Is that precipitation?
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty snug, isn't it? Maybe that's what's altering his last couple of games.
Dean, wipe off the steam from your glasses, buddy.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's hilarious. Honestly, I would probably be underweight on Robbie Ray a little bit. Because to me, this speaks like the ownership amount. It just screams how Ian Anderson was when I was on the show a couple weeks ago with when they were in the same match. Ian Anderson was in the same matchup against these Angels and should have struck them all out. Had a 30% strikeout rate projected, and they went and blew him up. So it's very capable. So me personally, I would probably be a little bit under on Robbie Ray. I wouldn't be at that 50% mark personally.
Are you adjusting your ownership after seeing that picture, or is it based? That's where it was the whole time.
I would. You said, am I adjusting it based on the picture?
The tight pants, yes.
Oh no. The tight pants is not even what did it for me. It was 50% that did it for me. But that's an extra one now. So you got to loosen them up a little bit. Let we got to breathe.
We got Barrios at 6%, Kramer at 6 on DK right now, Gibson at 17, 18. Again, man, I don't love him being super heavily owned. Lauer at 25 is, again, good matchup against Cincinnati. There's not much else to speak of. We mentioned Valdez and Cortez, who are both they've shown good ceiling games at times, but neither have a good matchup today. Doesn't mean they can't get there, but taking the scenic route for sure. Tough matchup against Cleveland from a strikeout perspective. Seattle pretty good too. St. Louis, and also St. Louis. That ballpark's going to play a little bit more hitter friendly than it typically does. And Cortez is another guy. The Yankees don't really push him too hard.
Yeah, you don't play him at all though. You just leave him off. He's just not been great lately. I don't know what's going on. So I would leave him off for me personally. And I'm a Yankee,
right? He wasn't as good as he was the first month of the season. It was a cute story, and everybody loves that mustache. But
he needs to get rid of the mustache, do something, try something different. So
tell Spencer Strider that and also Dylan. Have you seen Dylan Cease? He looks like straight out of the 1930s with this mustache.
Yeah, I don't understand, but maybe they started training. They got you along with it, Dean. So, and I see you dyed it too.
Oh yeah, I got some performance enhancers. Yeah, I look in the mirror and I'm like, who is this person? This is the wild. I feel like I'm on the run or on the lam. I did something and I'm just trying to but that's where we're at right now. I was going to put the mustache up against Stevie's beard. We talked about that earlier in the week. And, but maybe we're going to knock that out at some point next time me and Stevie are on a show. But he can grow that beard back in a day, though. He's so masculine. Chop, what do you have as far as the synopsis? Give me the rundown.
Oh, my gosh. Another synopsis of pitchers. I've done this 4 times for you, Dean.
Because somebody just joined the show 3 minutes ago, and they're like, well, they're just talking about tight pants and beards. I want to know who my favorite – they just – not everybody has the time to sit here and watch 2 hours of us ramble. So they come in and out.
Listen, respectfully to Dre, I'll probably be overweight on Robbie Ray because I see 2 guys that I really like, all told, matchup and arm talent and everything. That's Ray and Cease. I'll be overweight on those 2 guys. And I've already said I'll throw in some sprinkling of Dean Creamer because I really like some things that are happening tonight with that matchup. And other than that, I'll be underweight on the rest of those guys. And there's really only, I want to say, out of 26 pitchers, I've got 8 of them in my pool right now. So it's kind of a tight night for me.
You want to run them down?
Cease, Ray, Barrios, Walker, Creamer. I've got Eric Lauer in there because, my God, he's getting such a huge projection, even though I don't agree with it. I'll probably bump him down a little bit, and Kyle Gibson and Framber Valdez.
How many righties is Cincinnati throwing at Lauer? I assume it's 8. It is 8. Yeah, so it's 8. And as far as his splits, left and right, he obviously strikes out more lefties, 30% lefties, 23.5% righties, which is, still fine. But it is there's some contact guys in this lineup. There's some strikeout guys as well. Aristides Aquino is in there, and he strikes out a ton, 42%. I knew I was going to startle you with that one.
Yeah. I always like that name, man. I always like this name, man. I bought a whole bunch of rookie cards just because I like his name.
What's his nickname? Does he have a nickname?
I mean, there's so many good ones, but it's just a good name, man.
That's just a cool name. Superhero nickname. I think it's like, actually he does. It's somebody from like the Marvel universe or something like that. Do you know this, Andre, or no?
No, I don't.
Well, I'm going to type it into the Google, or I'm going to Bing it, and something's going to pop up because I think it's the Punisher. There you go. I knew it was something. I don't know if that's Marvel. Andre, that's more your world. That's more.
It is Marvel.
Yeah, that's a good nickname, the Punisher. But he also whiffs a lot too. But he does smash baseballs when he actually hits them. Andre, give me your rundown as far as pitchers. Anything you want to add to what Chop said?
My pitching pool is just going to be Robbie Ray, Dylan Cease, Kyle Gibson. On Fanduel, on DK, I would just extend that a little bit, and add Corey Kluber to it going against Detroit. I'm gonna. It might be small and tight like that. Maybe I'll have Eric Lauer a little bit, but not a lot, if anything.
TJ in chat says this is one of the worst performances. But wait, this is one of the worst like performances. Oh, we're not doing well as far as likes. Okay, I guess I got to beg and grovel. I don't know. Give it up. Just hit the like button, man. Like TJ's gonna pester you. You don't want him to pester you. You want him to come firing with his Spidey bombs. Andre, you got those Batman battering rams coming at some point, I imagine.
Yeah, I got some home run calls.
Yeah, and Chop, do you have a gimmick, Chop? What do you call your homers? Dongs?
Titties. I get them titties tonight.
Is that an homage to a particular player that's getting baseball tonight?
Why not? Why not? Dean, don't be too proud to beg for them likes, man. Don't be too proud to beg.
Oh man, it's I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the beggar for likes, but what else are you doing with your hands? You only need one, so you can be type whatever else you're doing. You can be typing, you can be making a lineup, and also hit the like button at the same time. Hey, let's talk about some stacks. Favorite stacks tonight, Andre?
Man, it's too many. Like, I was trying to break this down. Like, how can I get this down to like a few? But it's not that simple. So I like a little bit of everything. I like Houston a lot. I like the Phillies. I like Atlanta. I'd also like the Mets, Boston, Kansas City, New York, St. Louis. Those are like my top 9 teams that I really, really like. And I like the first 4, like the first 4 in Baltimore as well. I think they could be really sneaky too. So it's tough. To me, I think it's going to be a spread out night. I think there's a lot of stacks that have the potential to win and go off. It's just going to be one of those nights, in my opinion.
By the way, what I'm doing with my hand is I'm petting a dog. It's jumping right in my face. In case you were curious, I see the chat was I was not making any accusations. Hey, Chop, according to our consensus rankings, myself, Tuttle, Dave Potts, Kirkwood in chat, we have your Astros number 1. And, I like the Astros too, facing a pitcher that's, we're not expecting to be anything special. He's a bit of I wouldn't say he's a big prospect or anything. 2 knocks on it, though. No Tucker again. He's ill, so he's not playing baseball once again tonight. And I've had enough with Gurriel batting second. Like, what is that? Stop. What year do they think Gurriel's hitting?
I mean, he was hitting the ball well until like a couple games ago.
They moved him, Dean. I mean, yeah. Are you a splits number? You're a splits guy? Go look at the splits between him hitting in the second hole and him hitting down in the order.
But the 2-hole splits? Oh, come on. That's what you're giving me?
So you're telling me you don't think it's beneficial for a batter, any batter in general in a vacuum, to be hitting in front of Yordan Alvarez and with base runners on and things like that? Like, you don't think that's beneficial?
Okay, so let's say that's true, and I'm not saying it's not, but then I can use the same argument and say, well, Bregman would get a boost, and Mancini would get a boost, and Pena would get a boost if they're batting second. Yes.
And I would say that those guys, if they did bat second, they were probably pretty good. They were probably pretty good when they did it, right? Like, only one guy can bat second though, and we haven't seen Brantley for a month. It was him, so we've only had a month sample size of any of. But it's got to be beneficial. Like, it can't hurt being ahead of Yordan as opposed to having Chas McCormick as your guy protecting you behind you. So anyway, point is, and plus, Dina, I mean, I know he's not being good, but like unless you just totally are done as a professional ball player, MLB player, unless you're just done, at some point you're going to kind of revert back to somewhat your normal range. We've always heard that about MLB. He's always been a pretty good hitter, so he was so bad in the first half of the year. He's going to go up. I mean, I can get behind it, man. I can get behind, especially with, like, they just don't have very many options, Dean. Like, there's guys out, and Brantley's out for maybe the rest of the year, and Kyle Tucker's sick now, so somebody's got to get up there and take that number 2 spot in the batting order. I'm fine with it. I think the bigger issue here for Houston, and like I think they're in a good spot tonight, but yeah, part of the order is out, and let's face it, for most of the year, outside of one really nice stretch, they haven't been a good offense. They've built this record up based on just the best pitching staff in baseball. So I'm a little worried about that. But I'm with Dre as far as there's nobody that really, really stands out as a stack tonight. Like, there's nothing like, oh yeah, okay, that's the team I really want. These guys, you all throw them in the same bin and then pick a name out, because there's good things about all these matchups and there's bad things, and there's the really good offenses have slightly tougher matchups, and the really marginal offenses have the easier matchups. So it's tough, but Milwaukee looks good. Philly is always a threat to put up monster home runs. By the way, last night, if that game doesn't get rained out, I'll probably do a lot better, but it happens. So Philly's a threat to hit a bunch of home runs. I talked about some of the other teams. You go down to Boston. I like Boston against Zach Greinke today. Like, there's just 1 through 10. I could go 10 or 12 stacks here that I really like. So it's going to be tough to narrow it down to 1 or 2 or 3.
2 biggest team totals on the board. Milwaukee at 5-2 versus Duggar. Duggar's rough. Good ballpark to hit in as well. And you mentioned Philly. Good ballpark. Josiah Gray gives up just too many homers. Plenty of power in that Philly side as well. Interesting. The Yankees have kind of a low team total just because it's the Yankees, but 4.7 against Dakota Hudson's not somebody we're afraid of. Locked in for 9. And also, like, ownership wise, like, I don't know if there's going to be any clear and obvious stack that's going to get a ton of ownership. I was talking about Casey earlier. It's because they're so cheap. And like, one of the weaker pitchers taking the bump tonight, I think, inarguably, is Josh Winkowski. So I do like that Kansas City lineup. Massey is super, super cheap. He's got some power. He's got some pop. Nothing incredible, but he's flashed both in the minors. We've talked about Pasquantino a ton. The Italian Nightmare. It's Fettuccine Friday, if that does something for you. It obviously falls off pretty quickly as far as that KC lineup, but the first 4 or 5, even 6. Prado is a legit prospect in baseball. He's also like 2K, give or take. Do want to mention before we go around the horn, give our favorite plays position by position. Stat Hero, if you guys are not aware of Stat Hero, a unique fantasy sports platform that allows users to compete against the house. You don't compete against Andre. You don't compete against Chopper. You participate in a head-to-head style contest against Stat Hero. How that works is Stat Hero, they're going to provide a pick'em style lineup. They provide a lineup. You go ahead and build your own lineup, and you just take it down. You take it down, you win. That's how it works. They also have survivor pools available. If you are interested in playing on Stat Hero, let's wet your whistle with a nice little deposit bonus. You get 50% deposit bonus up to $250. Use the promo code Grinders. I know I saw Devin in chat talking about giving away 1 week free of RG Premium to a contest he made. I believe it's a FanDuel contest. He's going to go ahead and drop that link in chat in 3, 2. Let's see how well we can time this. 1. No, just missed it. It's coming soon. But yeah, it's a standard like a $5 contest on FanDuel, standard payout as is, but there's added value because if you finish first, you get the respect to finish first. You get the bragging rights because you can't put a price on that. And you'll get 1 week free of RG Premium as well. Let's go around the horn, Andre. Catchers, who do you like?
Catchers, sorry. I was just actually getting my home run plays out.
Okay.
But catcher, I mean, on FanDuel, these guys I would probably mainly use like as one-offs because honestly, with the first base position, you want to go. I mean, with this position, you want to go probably mainly with the guy at first base. But some of the guys that I do like as one-offs would be like Will Smith, Salvador Perez, Rutschman if that game goes, MJ Melendez as well, JT Realmuto. And if you want to get down a little bit, I do not mind taking some shots on Elias Diaz going against Bumgarner, or Yasmani Grandal.
Chop, what do you got as catcher? I know you guys are predominantly playing on FanDuel, so obviously you don't have the roster one there, but there is some, there's still some catchers that they're viable. What do you have?
Yeah, if I'm rostering a catcher on FanDuel, it's going to be Will Smith, Salvador Perez, or Adley Rutschman. Basically, is the three guys that I think have the best shot at him. But MJ Melendez is really good too, and a good matchup. So, other than that, I kind of don't want a catcher on FanDuel other than those guys. And if I'm on DraftKings, I'm looking for somebody really cheap.
So we timed that really poorly. Devin should be lurking. She'll be hopping in soon, I imagine, dropping that link for the people. But
still no link.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, maybe he's using the restrooms. I don't know what's going on in his life. But I'm sure I'll be back in, and you guys can go ahead and jump in there. And actually, I probably can drop it too, I imagine, if I can find it in a second. Dodgers lineup just came out. Betts, Trey Turner, Freeman, Smith, Chris Taylor is back in our lives. Alberto at third. Vargas, who I'm super impressed by watching that guy like play one game. Like, this guy's going to be legit. Bit of a prospect there. Thompson and Bellinger in the 9-hole. I'll let you start first here, Chopper, as far as first base. Hoskins seems too cheap. Tellez getting priced up these days, but still a good matchup here against Duggar. Good ballpark. We mentioned Hoskins. Of course, you can play Hall as well, another power guy against Gray. But if you really want to flat out punt it, we talked about Pasquantino several times. Where are you at as far as first?
So, you mentioned Tellez. I think he's really good. Paul Goldschmidt is the guy I'm interested in. I'm interested in a couple of these St. Louis guys against Cortez, the lefty, because they've been so good in their careers against lefties. I think that, what's going to win out? The guy who's having a career year with the Yankees, or the guys who have hit lefties really good for their entire career? I kind of lean towards St. Louis in that one. CJ Cron against Madison Bumgarner, another guy, lefty matchup. So those are the three guys I like. I did want to. You mentioned Anthony Rizzo earlier. I did want to say that every time I hear that name, it reminds me of the Jerky Boys with Frank Rizzo.
He sizzle chest.
Yes. Open your ears, jackass. I like that. I like those guys. And just for the heck of it, Dean, I did pull up Yuli's splits batting out of the second spot, and they're okay. Only 34 at bats, 4 doubles, 3 steals. So he runs a little bit out of that 2 spot to get in scoring position. So, and a 324, 4 strikeouts and 34 at bats. So he's got the bat control. He gets on base. He can steal a little. You know what, Dean? I like Yuli. Come on now, get off that man.
Andre, are you old enough to remember the Jerky Boys? I'm not sure what the cutoff is. Like you might have missed it.
I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, I feel like they were. I don't know, like for some reason in my head I feel like they're from New York, but I have no idea. But
I'm only 32.
Yeah, like that was like in like 19. What was like the Jerky Boys? Like it was their wheelhouse, 1997, something like that, 95. Chop, is that?
Yeah, it's probably got to be late 90s.
Yeah, like they were a thing. Like they were very, very, very popular. Prank phone calls, and they actually turned it into a movie, a horrible movie, but they did make a movie. And their producer Steve and myself, we both dropped that FanDuel link in chat. Have at it. You guys finish first. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Yeah, there you go. Steve knows it. Steve, I don't think he's sneaky old. He's just aware of the Jerky Boys talking about it. Hey, Andre, what do you got at first base?
Pretty much almost the same guys. Rowdy Tellez. Also, I do, like these Toronto guys. Don't sleep on Toronto righties against Smiley. I like that today a lot. So Vladimir Guerrero, I like him as an option. Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins as well. I like him. Mentioned Goldie already. We already know. Just like I do think St. Louis is a really, really, really sneaky stack today against Cortez. I like Paul Goldschmidt a lot today. I don't mind taking G-Man Troy, Anthony Rizzo, Jose Abreu, Trey Mancini. Now that he's with Houston, is a good option as well. And the one guy that I don't know, I'll have to refresh after this to see what his ownership is going to be. But Pete Alonso against Ian Anderson, I like.
He's not going to get played.
He's hitting a home run today. I'm just going to put it out there now. He's 71 deep. So just lock him in as a one-off in a couple of your lineups.
Not that he needs it, but it's actually good weather for homers there as well, for what it's worth. And now people are just putting random lines from Jerky Boys in the chat, and out of context, nobody has a clue. Brian's aware of the Jersey Boys, which I believe isn't that that was a Broadway play? I want to say.
Dean, I made a massive mistake in Vegas one time, confusing those two guys.
You thought you were going to see the Jerky Boys, and you saw the.
I got off the plane the first time in Vegas and saw that big old poster, and I was like, "Oh shit, these guys are in Vegas doing prank calls. I gotta go see that one." And then you get in there, and it's like Frankie Valli singing these 1960s things. Like, whoa, that's not what I signed up.
Power through.
Oh, you got to power through after you drop $100 on a ticket.
At no point there was already pamphlet or brochure or photos that let
you too amped up for the Vegas experience, man. You know what I mean? You got to read the fine print.
And what you think they're on a stage with like a phone and they're just calling?
You're asking the wrong. Where were you when I first got off the plane in Vegas? Where were you when I was about to buy the ticket?
What do you think the Broadway show is like with the guy just making?
They got a Broadway show for everything, Dean. I just figured they figured it out, man.
I mean, they give you the best of the best. That takes hours upon hours of work to come up with like the half-hour CD's worth of content. All right, we're getting sidetracked. We're getting derailed. But second base, keystone position. Chopper, start us off.
So this is the weakest position I think on the board tonight. I've only found a couple guys that I really like. Brandon Lau. I like that matchup batting leadoff tonight. Good price tag on FanDuel. And looks like really underowned Jonathan India against Lauer. I don't mind that at all. He's probably the best hitter in that entire lineup. And if you think, and Lauer is not a big strikeout guy, and he's, he'll prevent some runs, but he still gets runs put on him every game. So at some point, they're going to get some offense. I think it could come from India.
Andre, you're talking about St. Louis, by the way, or is it Chop? One of you guys talking about St. Louis? And Cortez gives up a ton of fly balls, over 40%, 48% fly balls, and he's been kind of lucky as far as homer in the fly ball this year, 9.4%. Not a great ballpark for homers, but it is getting that bump as far as the weather. I do like the prospect of St. Louis getting a couple homers there. Andre, what do you have a second base?
Yep, it was. I hate to go against my Yankees today, but they might be in for it today. I'm sorry, but I do like Brandon Lau a lot today. Jose Altuve, obviously. I don't mind taking some shots on Wong as well. This is a weak position, like Chop said. So I'll probably use this position mainly to like stack, like use for like only in stacks. Press that button that we have there on our good old lineup HQ here. And also like Whit Merrifield, someone like that is what I would do and cater to like whoever I'm playing in stacks.
One shot in chat says O'Neill one-off. I don't hate that. I don't hate anybody named O'Neill. I don't think O'Neill Cruz is a terrible one-off either. Hey, Chop, Anthony's got a question for you. It's a tough one. As a one-off, do you prefer Yordan Alvarez or Kyle Schwarber, like two of the best hitters in the slate?
It's really tough, but Yordan's probably a little bit more. Like if Schwarber doesn't hit a home run, what else is he doing for you, really? At least Yordan has some other stuff he can do. So I'd say Yordan.
What's he gonna do?
Isn't he Schwarber? Where's he batting tonight?
I assume leadoff.
Yeah. So he's probably not very much of an RBI threat.
He's knocking himself in.
Yeah, I just said if he doesn't hit home runs, then what is he doing? So
Yordan hits.
Well, Yordan's going to get maybe some guys on base. So if you double, maybe you can get 2 RBIs out of that, an RBI out of it. I just got finished telling you, Yuli gets on base in front of him.
What's going to happen is Altuve gets on, Yuli hits a double play, and then Yordan comes up and they walk.
Dean, you want me to pull up how many double plays Gurriel's hit into this year?
Too many last night.
I guarantee it's not that many. Ground into double play, 1 in 34 at bats in this 2-hole. So not likely it's going to happen.
The 2-hole stat is not a stat. That's a It's how is he on Fridays? Does that matter too?
Okay, how about 350 something at bats, and he's hitting the 9 double plays the whole year? He's not a big double play guy, Dean. Come on now.
I think that's a lot, by the way. I'm not I don't know what.
No, that's not a lot. Nah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not certain. But he just ruins my stacks, and I just don't play him. And whatever.
He's all right.
If you want a mush play, there it is. Yuli Gurriel. Third base. What do you have, Andre?
Third base.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're going with Boston, you gotta go with Rafael Devers. It all starts with him today. So against Greinke, I love the matchup. Jose Ramirez, who's going to be lowly owned. If you think that he can get to Valdez and hit a home run, I'm not knocking it. I personally don't think he should be on him, though. I'd rather go with a guy like Austin Riley going against Walker at the same price on Fanduel at 4.4. Yandy Diaz is another guy I like a lot today. Alex Bregman, Eugenio Suarez, Matt Carpenter. I think he's actually obviously viable today as well. Nolan Arenado, Josh Donaldson, DJ LeMahieu. I didn't mention him at all. But yeah, I think
your favorite player on the Yankees, which is just wild to me.
Oh, that is my favorite player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's anybody's favorite player. That's just even the LeMahieu's, but that's crazy.
Well, Derek Jeter's my favorite baseball player of all time. But I guess DJ's, I don't like me. I'm not a big guy who can. I probably would never if I was to really play baseball. I don't think I would be a guy that would hit home runs like that. So I'd be a guy that would just hit the ball into the seams, get on base, and just try to steal a couple bags because I was fast when I was. Well, I'm still fast now, but fast definitely when I was younger. So
you think you'd be a lot better if you were hitting the 2-hole?
I would get a lot of RBIs, probably. Yes.
I don't know. I'm just bashing Gurriel all show. Third base, go for
it. Devers, Jose Ramirez has some decent history against Valdez. So
BVP.
I'm not going so far as to call him a good BVP play, but he's got some decent history. I like Alex Bregman.
You gotta be devoted to that bit, man.
I got a BVP player coming up here later on, or else I've already passed it up. I can't remember, but I'll get back to it if I did.
What position is this person playing?
I don't even know. I thought I had it marked down. Anyway, Dean, let me continue here. Alex Bregman. I like Houston in general. Pretty good matchup here. We'll go Houston. And then what's the ownership? Less than 1% or around 1% on Nolan Arenado. Let's take a shot on some of these lefty mashers for St. Louis. Now, there's a chance. It's one of those things I could see playing Nestor by himself and then also having stacks of St. Louis, because if they get off on him, then they're going to crush him. But if not, he's going to pitch a good game. So it's one of those weird situations. But I'll take a shot on Arenado for sure.
By the way, the chat reminded me, Matt Carpenter revenge game against St. Louis.
What do you think about the Matt Carpenter resurgence? Do you think that's sustainable?
I mean, it's not this sustainable, but I think it's mostly real. Yeah, I think it's mostly real.
I think just for this year, that's about it.
I'm really curious, what he gets paid in the offseason, how that works. I don't think he's going to get a big fat contract, but he's on a 1-year, probably veteran minimum, I imagine, with the Yankees. He was, not supposed to be doing what he's doing, obviously, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's mostly real. It's obvious if you look at it statistically, he's the best hitter in baseball. If you you don't cut at certain samples, that's not going to continue. But I think he's going to be viable and smashing righties still to some degree. Andre, you're probably watching him a good bit.
Yeah, I like Matt Carpenter, but I don't know. I don't think it's sustainable past this year personally.
Let's talk about shortstop, outfield. We'll give some homers. We still got 10 minutes or so until the crunch time crew comes on. Chief meteorologist Kevin Roth tell you guys what's going to go on weather-wise. There was some places that we're keeping our eye on, so Roth going to give us some clarity there. 2-time millionaire winner Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, as well as TJ warming up in the bullpen, the greatest DFS player in all of Saskatoon. Andre, who do you like at shortstop? No Witt, by the way. No Bobby Witt tonight, so cross him off the list.
So I like Trey Turner today. Willie Adames. A little bit of Corey Seager, just to be a little bit different. If you want to go with a Texas mini sack as a secondary, I don't mind that against Cease. I like Carlos Correa today too. Francisco Lindor. I'm like, the more and more I get to this, and the more and more I start thinking about the conversation I had earlier with TJ, and how I mentioned the Mets. I really think the Mets might win it all today and be the top stack on the slate. I think they're going to get to Anderson. Lindor's been hot. Pete Alonso's been hot. A couple of these other guys are hitting the ball really well. So I like Lindor a lot today. Pena is a good option too as well. Tim Anderson. That's pretty much it. Paul DeJong, if you want to use any St. Louis stacks as well, is a good option.
Chopper?
Some of the same guys. Jeremy Pena, Alexander Bogaerts. I like that Boston side against Zach Greinke tonight. And Willie Adames, expensive, but I don't know what happened when he came to Milwaukee. He's just become an exceptional hitter. And so I like that one too.
The one thing Tampa got wrong, like in the last 20 years, as far as trading players, right? They always seem to be on the right side of trades. I think that was a trade, right?
It was a mid-season trade, yeah. It was crazy. He was like nothing in Tampa as far as an offensive hitting shortstop, and then he gets to Milwaukee and he just he goes crazy.
Going to talk outfielders in a second. By the way, I dropped that link in chat for the people. If you're not aware, we're running a contest on FanDuel. Just $5. Jump in there. Just throw whatever lineup you're making. Just throw it in this contest as well too, because there is added value. If you finish first, you get a 1 week free of RG Premium. That is in the chat. If you guys are in the chat, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. And why? You're asking, why are we running this contest giving away RG Premium? Because it's kind of an homage to the Beat Mean Dean contest, which is going down tonight. I'm putting my undefeated streak on the line. I tweeted it out yesterday. You got to call me out if I select you. We're gonna throw down in a head-to-head contest. We got Hutch Boy, RG member, Hutch Boy. I don't discriminate if you're an RG member. If you're not, either way, we'll just add on the additional 5 weeks. That's right. If he beats me tonight, 5 weeks free of RG Premium. That's all the sports as well too. If he doesn't, we're going to run this back next week and give away 6 weeks. We're going to keep doing it. Keep adding a week. If he happens to get lucky and take me down, we're going to move it back to 4. You get a month, which is that's pretty good because, it doesn't cost you anything to join. And how did Hutch Boy stand out amongst all the submissions? We actually have his video submission right now, and producer Steve is going to play it for the people.
Oh, I can't hear nothing. Can anyone hear that?
I can't hear it. Maybe
it sounded good earlier, but we dropped the ball on that one.
Oh boy! We were here for a run through, and I don't know if they can hear us or if they're hearing the video, but that's kind of a bummer.
I'll have to look at it later because I want to see that. I want to hear it now.
Steve, let us know, or let us know, chat. Did you guys hear that? Could you guys hear that or no? Because it was playing, and maybe y'all didn't hear it. It was good. It's on my Twitter feed if you want to see that. But yeah, he was calling me out, and I think, the chat can hear it. Okay, so they heard it.
They can hear it. Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure.
But now I'm wondering if we just talked over it. Which we may have done, which kind of ruined it. And our apologies if we did. But
no, they cannot hear it.
Oh, well, some people can hear it and some people can't.
Maybe it was on mute. Maybe we had it on mute. I don't know. I'm not.
Well, maybe we can have Steve run it at the end of crunch time during the credits for that, so that people can say we want to give a Hutch Boy his shine.
Here we go. He's got it. He's ready for it. He just had it on mute on accident. He's ready for it now. Let's do it.
Hour.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Hit the play button. Is it not? Oh no.
This is rough. This is a tough scene.
What is going on? This is a disaster now. You can't hear anything, Steve.
It happens.
Oh man. We had it all coordinated pre-show, but there you go. Good luck to Tim, and hopefully we keep the record going. If not, he'll win himself 5 weeks free of RG Premium, and we're gonna be running this back next week. And just find my tweets, and we'll pick somebody again next week. Hey, Chop, who do you like in the outfield?
Okay, lots of good outfielders. So we mentioned Jordan and Schwarber already. Those are good plays. If you can find a way to get, I do like Judge tonight. Cedric Mullins against Keller, I think, is good. Tommy Pham, I thought that was a really good pickup. Unfortunately, it was for the Red Sox. I don't think they're going anywhere, but I think Pham's a really good player, and they got Pham, and he's pretty cheap against Greinke. I can get behind that. Luis Robert, Andrew McCutcheon.
Yesterday, it's Robert.
Is it?
Well, he said, and he basically said, like, when he's in Cuba, they call me Robert. When we're in America.
Okay.
But yeah, so whatever he wants to be called, I'm happy to call him.
Man wants to be called Robert. I'm not going to argue with him. Luis Robert, Randall Gritchett getting a little left-handed matchup. I like that. Tyler O'Neill, part of that St. Louis stack, if you want to, against the lefty. And then Dean, here's the guy I have marked down, BVP player today. Ding, 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 ding. Low-hanging fruit. But Mookie Betts, I don't know how popular the Dodgers will be against Sean Manaea, or how popular Betts will be against Manaea, but I like Betts in general, and it enhances Betts' profile for me tonight that he has pretty decent batter versus pitcher versus Sean Manaea.
Joaquin in chat's talking about Yordan getting 4 strikes. Did you see that at bat, Chop, when he got 4 strikes the other day?
I heard about it. I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
Yeah. Andre, throw out some outfilders. Feel free to throw out some homers for the people. We got Crunch Time Crew coming in a few minutes. I'm seeing what else the chat wants us to talk about as we're winding down. But, give them a slew of outfielders, Andre. What do we got?
Hunter Renfroe, Cedric Mullins, so I like Randy Rosarina, Teoscar Hernandez, Anthony Santander, Brendan Nimmo, Nick Castellanos, pretty much anyone you're using from any of the teams you like today in the outfield, I would play a majority of them, as long as they're on a good team. I really do also like sneakily is Michael Harris batting in that ninth spot. I'm gonna give him. He's one of my home run calls of the day. I like him a lot too. To go yard, his numbers are ridiculous. His ISO is ridiculous for a couple pitches that are favorable to him. But yeah, that's some of the guys I would say I like today. And we use like for stacks or one-offs.
By the way, no Buxton today. They just kind of manage him in and out.
He's out?
Yeah, Buxton is out. So a slight bump, I would say, to Barrios as far as that Minnesota lineup. I know Arise is so annoying. He leads off and doesn't strike out. But, beyond that, we have Correa, Polanco, Miranda got the cleanup spot, Gordon, Cave, Beckham, Contreras, and Sandy Leon. So that's Sandy Leon instead of Gary Sanchez. Leon's pretty terrible. I know Sanchez has been bad too, obviously. There you go. There's that Minnesota lineup, not spectacular. Does that change things for you, Chop?
No, because I already liked him. I already liked that pitcher.
Okay.
Remember that? I said I threw him on there, and that was kind of thinking Buxton was going to play, but I already kind of liked him, so I'm all right with that.
Let's see. I should have mentioned we have a free piece of content that's available for people. But typically, it's in the RG Premium content, but we're giving away the MLB Expert Survey today. I'll go ahead and drop that link in chat for the people if you want to read that at your own leisure. I was going to pull a couple questions from there, but again, Crunch Time Crew should be here momentarily. Actually, they're here right now. Roth, what's going on, dude? But can I say, Roth, your mentions amongst all the people that I follow, I just enjoy reading your mentions more than most. You probably don't. You have to deal with repercussions.
I enjoy them because they're not mine. Yeah.
There you go. That's kind of
pretty hit or miss. I get a lot of really nice people saying a lot of really nice things, and then I get a lot of people who are just the worst. The worst.
Well, you're supposed to focus on the steak and not the parsley, or what do they say? Focus on the flowers, not the weeds. Is that the saying? You know what I'm saying here.
I do know what you're saying. I've never heard that expression, but I like it. And it's just, I don't know. It's more fun to focus on the idiots. They're a lot more fun. So I do.
Yeah. I mean, that's just sort of how that goes. But like people arguing with you about Philadelphia last night was just kind of fun. And yeah, whenever there's a weather issue, I will just jump on your Twitter account. And let's just see what people are saying to Roth. I enjoy it.
It's the YouTube channel, Dean. The YouTube channel was killing me last night when I said I think there's going to be a delay between 8 and 9 o'clock in Philly. The YouTube channel was lighting up. No, the local guys here are saying that's not going to happen. No, weather.com says that's not going to happen. You need to revisit that forecast. I don't trust this guy. Just lighten up.
Guess who was right?
And where are they now? Have they since apologized? They said my bad.
I don't know, but just like trust that I've looked at these things. I'm not just like making crap up. Like I looked at these things.
Roth, I saw
And
you-
if he is making crap up at this point, he's so good at it. We just got to believe him.
It's true. Yeah.
you have like what 7, 8 years, 9 years of credibility at this point. How long have you been doing this for? And like, if you were some kind of fraud, you would have been exposed years ago.
Yeah. This is my ninth MLB season, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But also mostly I just block the people who call me a fraud. So maybe I am being exposed and called a fraud, but I don't ever hear it. So
I do want to thank Dave for teaching me the word nebulous today. So thanks for that, Dave, and the the musings.
I had a blast, right? I have no idea if anybody read it or cared, but I had a wonderful morning.
Are we at that point now, like what 4 months in the season, where you're just like in like just to amuse yourself mode, just like I'm just writing.
Yeah, I was working pretty hard in the pitcher part, and I got to the hitting part. I was like, I don't know, let's talk about the word nebulous for a while, and just went with that.
2 more months, Dave, and then you go into your hibernation, right? All right, Chop, Andre, you guys got anything else for the boys, or shall we step aside and make way? Let Roth talk about some weather.
I got a question.
He's gonna go. I just want to ask Mr. Potts because he's a baseball aficionado.
Oh boy, here it comes.
Do you think there's a benefit to a hitter that gets moved from the bottom of the order up to number 2 in between some really good hitters? Do you think he could benefit from that?
In real life or DFS or both?
Maybe both. I don't know. I don't even know if there is a separator there. I don't know.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Awesome.
That wasn't the disagreement because
That was totally what you said.
It was about Yuli Gurriel, and the point is, if they put Bregman in the 2-hole, he would benefit also. So everybody's going to benefit.
What?
But
that's not what you said, Dean. But we don't want to take these guys' time. But that's not what you said. You said he stunk, regardless of where he hit in the order.
Follow-up question.
Just Dave. From the little bit I've heard, it seems like Chop has won this argument.
No. Follow-up question, Dave.
We're out of here now.
Well, I got a question.
You're making a lineup.
What do you think about the Mets?
Am I cut off? I might have been cut off. Roth, take it over.
You're not cut off, but wait. Dre had a question for Cheese. What is it, Dre?
I just see your. You just see your head.
Yeah, I just realized you're wearing a green shirt. This is not what you're supposed to do. It's like weatherman.
That was crazy.
Yeah, don't
the wildest show switch ever.
But what do you think about the Mets today?
I really like the Mets. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not bugging. Okay,
this one good start from Ian Anderson does not make him good now, and the Mets are just sneaky good all the time. And why is no one going to play Pete Alonso?
Exactly. All right, I'm not bugging. All right, perfect.
You got to play Yuli Gurriel. That's why.
That's true. You can't play them both on DK at least. Yeah.
Roth, I got my last jab in at Gurriel. They smashed the over at 7.5, I believe. Shots at Yuli. He did nothing to me. Hit that like button too. Speaking of smashing, but we're out of here. Myself, Andre, Chopper, Roth, take it over. Fanduel sponsor, Crunch Time.
Sounds good. Good stuff. As always, from Dino and the crew. This is it. Indeed. They mentioned it. It is Crunch Time, sponsored by FanDuel. Got to get in that FanDuel single entry series. Yesterday, somebody hit me up and told me they won the whole freaking thing. A RotoGrinders member. So kudos to them. It's back. $50K in bonus cash up for grabs. Top 4 scores each week count towards your combined score. And then at the end, you win the combined score. Top finisher gets an all expenses paid trip to the single entry series championship in Chicago on September 9th. Shot at the $10,000 grand prize. And that's the top finisher in each series, of which we've got 6 of them left, I believe. So go ahead, make sure that you're getting in that. A couple of the sharpest minds in the biz joining us. One, Dave, are you laughing at my floating head?
That it pops back and forth is what's funny. If it was just a floating head all the time, I would get used to it. But then it's like, oh, and now I have a shirt. And now I'm a floating head.
As soon as we say anything that is not weather related, I'm going to run out and put on a real shirt so that this doesn't keep happening. But Cheese, how you doing, man?
I'm doing so great. I can't even explain it to you. Just tears of joy streaming down my face with your nebulous head just floating in the clouds. It's all wonderful.
I'm happy to hear. Was it today or yesterday? I've lost track of time. I just got a nice video of Cheese feeding your horse Boomer.
Yeah, we were out there yesterday. I just thought, he would want to say hello to you, which he did.
I wanted to say hello to him, so I very much appreciated that. I got to watch him snack on a nice carrot. You kind of live the life that I wish I was living, with having a body and everything. It must be nice,
Right? It's pretty nice. Yeah.
Hey, we got
Having
TJ
a
as
body
well.
and everything.
Yeah, TJ, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing well. We got a fun slate today. Did the FanDuel Friday show early with Dre, so I'm feeling ready to roll. And let's hit that like button, 150, and we'll get a Spidey Bomb. Might as well get a second Spidey Bomb at 200 because we got so many people watching today.
Okay, that makes sense. And I think I don't want to, talk about how amazing I am, but I think maybe some folks are watching because they want a weather report. So I think we should do it. There is a couple of changes. One is that I did increase the risk just a touch in Philly of a delay. Is that a spot, Cheese, where we want pitchers?
Yeah. One of the more decent cheap pitchers is there.
Okay. I don't think it's such a high risk that you should fade pitchers there, but just be aware that there is a chance for a delay in Philly. As I'm starting to see these storms just look a little more robust than what I was expecting, or that what models were showing. And then we got to talk about Baltimore. We've got this nebulous storm system that is moved in. I actually am somewhat encouraged by 10 minutes ago. I was like, yeah, just don't do it. Just full on don't do it. As of now, it's still risky, and I still think the smart move, if you don't want any risk, is just don't do it. But if you want to play it in GPPs, okay. It's starting to fade away. I think the likely outcome, and by the way, it's an official late start. I don't know if you guys saw that, but official late start in Baltimore. It's probably going to rain for another hour or so, would be my best guess. And all the heavy rain is done. So like the flooding rains that are going to wash out the ballpark, that's done with. It's moderate rain now. It'll become lighter rain, and it'll gradually clear up. I still think they're going to play after a late start, but I don't know if it's worth risking it. I don't feel that great about it. I'm not making the call. Cheese.
Yeah. Now, like the pitchers in this game, like it's very deep dart throwing, but they are cheap, and I do have a couple of them. Is it like if they play, the pitchers are going to play because of the late start? Like the game either plays or it doesn't at this point, or are they still going to delay maybe?
No. Basically, what happened is we had one huge thunderstorm go up right over the ballpark, and now it's in the process of winding itself down. This shirt is messing with me so bad. It's winding itself down. It's raining itself out, and it will continue to do so until it's gone. And it's very unlikely that anything pops back up in its place. So if you want to stick with some of those cheap pitchers in a GPP, go for it. Someone recommending I go shirtless. I'm not going to do that. I would like to keep the viewers on YouTube. I don't want to scare them away. So,
well, I'll tell you, I'm just going to keep what I have in that game. Like, I don't think anyone is really playing anything in cash in that game. I mean, somebody somewhere might have Brian Reynolds or Cedric Mullins or something, but you don't need that in cash. And just for a little bit of tournament sprinkles, I'm happy with it.
I'm cool with that. Sprinkle in, don't have too high ownership on these guys. Don't make it a massive part of what you're putting out there today. But if you want to keep some, I think that's okay. So that is where I'm at. TJ, anything you want to add to the weather discussion there?
No, I had, based on your previous tweets, I had taken out Baltimore out of my player pool completely, but I'm sprinkling them in. No one as one-offs, but some just as stacks now, getting them back in there because I was somewhat interested in them before. So I'm going to sprinkle them back in for stacks for tournaments. And I'm kind of having my very first fun sweat running 150 lineups while being on crunch time. I'm excited about it.
Good times. Okay, well, if you are completely absent and paying no attention, we know why. We know what you're up to. All right, let's talk about what we are going to do pitcher-wise, Cheese. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to go put on a shirt that doesn't disappear every 5 seconds.
All right. So the only things anywhere on the slate, pitcher or hitters or otherwise, that's chalky is Dylan Cease and Robbie Ray. These are the very two obvious chalk pitchers. I don't even want to say they're the obvious best pitchers. I mean, they kind of are, but these are still like, I don't know if they're unstoppable. I mean, Robbie Ray has been terrible. At least a couple starts in a row. Sure, they were against Houston, but I don't know. It's generally weird chalk and shaky chalk to play Robbie Ray, but pretty much everything on this entire slate is kind of weird and dicey and has downside without a ton of upside. I definitely feel better about Cease, but the salary plays into that. I would tell you that I'm just playing a lot of Ray and Cease, roughly 50% of each on DK, and on FanDuel I have mostly Ray with a little bit of Cease because I don't think we're winning this slate at pitcher. I really don't, and if we are, it's probably Ray and Cease. Or theoretically, Robbie Ray can always lose it for you just because he does the Robbie Ray thing. But I think you just take your okay start, and you don't need the ceiling. So I think Ray and Cease are totally fine chalk, and I'm playing a good amount of them. Past that, I think on FanDuel, the Kyle Gibson salary really stands out. Because with Ray at only 94, I'm fine with a direct pivot to Barrios, a little Eric Lauer, maybe a little Sandoval. But you go all the way down to $7,000 with Gibson, and then you do absolutely anything you want with your lineup. So my FanDuel pool is almost entirely Ray, Cease, and Gibson. And I don't care that it's chalky because I'm just not trying to win at pitcher. DraftKings, I have a bigger pitcher pool. I'm playing a lot more Barrios on DK at 77. I'm playing Corey Kluber on DK at 82. You can make a case for a ton of guys. I'm curious to see if TJ is going to want to pick out any of his other names. And there's a lot of good pitchers. You can play, Tyler Mahle and Nestor Cortez and Framber Valdez and Cortez and Valdez. There's a lot of good pitchers, but I'm not trying to play all of them. So the ones I named, mostly Ray, Cease, then down to Gibson, Barrios, Kluber. That's kind of my main core.
Okay. TJ, what is your main core? What are you looking at?
So this terrifies me, but I'm running 150 lineups today on our sponsor FanDuel. They got 30K up top in the $5.55 contest. Hit the like button, courtesy free content to them. But I'm terrified because in those 150 lineups, I'm currently running 150 lineups with Robbie Ray. And that terrifies me. But I decided to hit the lock button because it's such an aggressive amount of chalk, and it's such a terrible amount. It's such a terrible lineup for the Angels that I kind of feel like I gotta going even just does nothing for me. And so I decided to hit the lock button there. And in my single entry, I think just because it's my only lineup that won't have him, I actually think I'm going to roll with Jose Barrios, just because with no Buxton in that lineup, it's a really, really watered down Minnesota lineup. And I think he could potentially put up a big ceiling score with absolutely no one playing him on FanDuel. And on DraftKings now, I honestly think the best possible pairing you can do is Ray with Barrios. I totally understand why you'd want to pay up for Cease because you can, but I think my favorite option on DraftKings is going to be the Ray Barrios combo and then just paying up for bats.
Okay. Any other pitchers you want to throw in there?
Nope.
He's playing one guy. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually,
All right.
I love that strategy today. I mean, I really do. It's a late game, so you're not dead until later anyway. Even if you blow up, you don't know.
Exactly. You always feel better about it. And I was saying to Dre this morning on the FanDuel Friday show, anytime I wake up, I do my research and I have a strategy, and then I read the $1 Million Musings, and you have a similar strategy that you said, I think I'm going to keep a tight pitching pool and then get very different in all my bats, which was my plan already. So as soon as I read that, it just basically locked that into place. And now if I lose because of Robbie Ray, it's your fault.
I will take that blame.
Yeah, it's a wise choice. All right, let's talk about some of the stacks. And TJ, I'm not sure if there's chalk stacks, but if there is, I'd like to know it, and I'd like to know what else you're doing.
I don't really think anyone is going to be chalky. I think the closest thing to over-owned will be maybe Philly and Milwaukee, but I'm not trying to get underweight on them because I really like both of those stacks as well. My favorite stacks for tournaments are going to be Houston, as well as Philly and Milwaukee. I love Houston. I love Toronto against a reverse splits right-handed pitcher. I was hoping to get to a bit more Yankees, but I don't actually have that much of them. But the other two teams I'm getting quite a bit of are Boston and Toronto, and I'm in the process of trying to get a little bit more Mets. Or sorry, not Boston and the Dodgers. I already mentioned Toronto. I have quite a bit of Dodgers, and then I'm in the process of trying to get some more Mets.
Okay. Cheese?
Yeah, this is the most spread out slate you're going to get. Like that's why I ended up just talking about the word nebulous, because it's all just very nebulous, Kevin.
I'm glad to know why, like where that came from.
It's like a 20 team tie for top stack.
Yeah.
Like the difference between any of them is really small. And there really is no chalk. I would say there'll be a couple individual hitters. Like on FanDuel, Brandon Lau will be chalky. Like Alvarez and Schwarber will be, chalky-ish. But as far as everything else and like stacks in general, it's not hard at all to get over the field on whatever it is that you like. I don't like anything enough to feel like that's the thing I got to play. So I'm just spread out all over the place, hoping I get one or two good lineups. And that's why I like TJ's plan. Just get the pitcher and have all these different combos around. Like you can't play all the pitchers and all the offenses, even in 150 lineups. You can't get there. So I'm definitely more on let's spread it out with the bats and let's keep it tight with the pitchers.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about position by position stuff here. And Cheese, you can lead us off with a little catcher talk.
So almost everything
go
ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to hey, Cheese, take it away, and then cut you off immediately. Sorry.
You're good.
All right. I really like what I'm seeing in Baltimore. Like I am shocked at how quickly the Storm, which 20 minutes ago was peak, it was at its worst, is almost gone at this point. So I still can't tell you this is a safe play, but I feel more confident now than I was 10 minutes ago. And that was a lot more confident than I was 20 minutes ago. So I still think they're going to late start and play in Baltimore. If you want no risk and you don't want to sweat it, then avoid it. It is an official late start already. But Cheese, go for it.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to say is on FanDuel, you can really kind of play whatever you want, even with a Robbie Ray lineup. Like you can. So I have a lot of like one stack and then 4 one-offs. I'm fine with double stacks. Whereas on DraftKings, almost everything I like is in a stack with just a couple of one-offs here and there. At catcher, I'm really not using catchers on FanDuel unless they're in that stack. I mean, like Sal Perez and Will Smith, I mean, you could throw them in the pool, but pretty much catcher's a DK thing. I like going cheap with Ruiz at 2,700. And I also like spending up for Will Smith or one of the Royals. And that's kind of about it. Everything's great in a stack, but basically Smith, Perez, Melendez, or down to Ruiz.
Okay. TJ, anything you want to add?
Yeah, and on FanDuel today, I got the only catchers I have as one-offs are going to be Will Smith and Sal Perez. Everybody else I'm only including in stacks, but another guy on both sides that I'd want to throw in because I do like his chances to hit one out of the park today is going to be Danny Jansen. I think he's a very strong tournament option, and we are 20 likes away from the Spidey Bomb. So let's hit the like button, and as soon as we get 150, we will give the Spidey Bomb today. Taking it over to first base. There are just so many unbelievable options today. I think probably the closest thing, like maybe the best quote unquote play projection wise is going to be Rowdy Tellez, but you have Pete Alonso, Vlad Guerrero, Paul Goldschmidt, Rhys Hoskins, Anthony Rizzo. They're just all like Daniel Vogelbach. I even don't mind getting to. And my favorite guy for tournaments actually is going to be Trey Mancini. I can't even remember who talked about it, but somebody talked about that on one of these shows that Mancini, he'd have like 11 more home runs or 9 more home runs this year if he had been playing all of his games in Houston. And he's hit 2 home runs since he's been in Houston already. And now he's batting in the 5 spot. I like Mancini quite a bit. Not quite at 150, but I'm giving us the Spidey Bomb anyways because it's at first base. Vladimir Guerrero's hitting a home run today.
Okay, excellent. Cheese, first base.
Yeah, it's so good. In every position is like this. It's just this huge glob of wonderful plays that all have upside. On I'll throw out, so like the cheap stuff is interesting as well. Again, Vinny P. We're going to keep playing Vinny P while he's cheap. That's more of a DraftKings thing because on FanDuel, Hoskins is only 31, Tellez is only 36. Like you can spend up to this pretty good stuff. Kind of random other things that I like that I don't think anyone's going to play would be like Christian Walker. If you want the random who is that person home run of the day today is going to be Joey Meneses for the Nationals.
Who?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Joey, I've never heard his name pronounced. Meneses. He's like a young power dude.
Okay, take us to second.
Brandon Lau, like I mentioned on FanDuel, is probably going to be one of the most popular players anywhere on the slate. I think he's very obviously the best play, particularly on FanDuel at 3K. Anything else you're doing, you're different. You're probably mostly just in a stack with anything else, although I kind of like Ketel Marte and Altuve and Gleyber Torres on their own. The cheap punt with Michael Massey is a little more of a DK thing, though fine on FanDuel as well at minimum salary. A lot of things you can toss in there. I mean, like Brendan Rodgers and Drake Cronenworth, and I could go on and on. But basically, Lau chalk is good chalk, but just be aware that that's the chalk.
Gotcha. Okay, TJ, what are you doing at second?
At second base today, so Lau is my highest owned player of all my bats today. Next on the list, Jose Altuve. You got Whit Merrifield batting first for the Jays today. I talked about them being one of my favorite tournament stacks, so I think that's a good spot. I have quite a bit of Michael Massey, and then I'm honestly just mixing in mostly guys in my stacks, other than just also some cheap Javi Baez as a one-off.
Okay, take us to third.
Third base today is home to one of my favorite plays on the slate, Rafael Devers. I'm trying to get double the field on him today. And then outside of him, I'm just basically stacking. So it's Alex Bregman, Yandy Diaz, Matt Chapman, Miguel Vargas, Nolan Arenado, Alec Boehm, and that's my tier one of guys that I'm getting to from an ownership perspective.
Okay, excellent. Cheese?
Totally agree with Devers. I think he's one of the best plays on the slate. And then right there with him, Manny Machado will be kind of the unowned version of Devers. Jose Ramirez as well. As much as Valdez is awesome, the one guy who is going to find a way to get the ball in the air against him is Ramirez. And Austin Riley is up there too. You can spend up to be different. I think among those spend ups, Devers is the most popular, but it's not like going to be a concerning level of chalk. And with how good all that stuff is, I really do like spending up at the position, and any of the cheap stuff is just in a stack.
Okay, take us to short.
It's the same old list of guys as always. And they all fit fantastically in a stack. And none of them are really jumping out at me too much on their own, with the sort of exception of O'Neal Cruz, who's just a little bit cheaper than most of these guys. I like Bogarts. I like Willy Adames. And everything other than that, like I like it a lot, but kind of only in a stack. Like Trey Turner, Corey Seager, Carlos Correa, and Dansby Swanson, and Lindor, and Tim Anderson, and Jeremy Pena, and Bo Bichette. All those guys are great, but like I don't love them on their own the way I love some first basemen and outfielders.
Okay, TJ?
Yeah, I agree with that take completely. And shortstop's my most spread out position on the slate today. I have probably 10 different guys between 5 and 10%. The guys I'm getting to the most are Xander Bogaerts, Trey Turner, Bo Bichette, Willy Adames, Jeremy Pena, and Francisco Lindor.
Okay, let's go to outfield.
Yeah, so the outfield is like first base today. It's just absolutely chock filled with goodies. And up top, we got Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Schwarber, Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge. Those are kind of my top 4 outfield plays on the slate. But there are some decent pay down options I like getting to as well. Trace Thompson, David Peralta, Nick Castellanos, Chris Taylor is back in the lineup now. So there's some cheap guys that I like getting to quite a bit as well. And those are the main ones. And I'm trying to get to as many Juan Soto, whether it's in a stack or a one-off lineups as I can get as well, because I don't think he's going to be very owned today.
Okay. Cheese, outfield. We still have plenty of time.
Yeah, I do think like the mid-tier is going to get kind of overlooked just because of how great the high end is, and it's reachable. Alvarez and Schwarber, I would say, should be and will be the chalk, but it's not like massive chalk. I think feel free to play those guys. Don't. It's not like, oh, you need to fade them because of ownership. I do like Judge and Betts just as much. All the Brewers outfield is pretty interesting. On FanDuel, I like the Cedric Mullins price. The Blue Jays guys, again, in kind of that mid-tier group that just maybe gets a little overlooked. When you can, like, you can go up to Judge or Alvarez, or you can go down to, like, the guys you mentioned, like Castellanos and David Peralta, and or you can spend kind of somewhere in the middle and get the Teoscar or the Gurriel, the Brian Reynolds, the JD Martinez. So while those aren't my favorite plays, I think they're the things that just get totally forgotten, but still have the upside. Yeah, there you have
And
it.
Roth, I think you brought up a great point with like the speediness of how we've gone through this. And I think the reason for that is for bats, like there's nothing to love, like, or all to love, depending on how you want to look at it. Like they're just all so spread out so that like we get to this position. I'm naming the guys I figured the best way to do it is just name the guys I'm playing the most, that I'm getting to the most. But I'm playing like 15 to 20 players at every single position. And so it's kind of a case between I either have to name every single guy on the slate and it would go on forever, or just keep it real tight.
Getcha.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you don't want to name them all. That doesn't help anybody.
Just
okay.
a nebulous group of everyone.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a nebulous group of outfielders. Let's talk about your top stack of the day. Hopefully that is not nebulous. Cheese, what stack do you think is going to win it all? FanDuel single entry. You're playing one stack. Who you playing?
Well, I could probably tell you who I'm playing in the FanDuel single entry.
Let's do it. Unless it's kind of off the board and it's not your favorite.
It's in my notebook somewhere.
Yeah.
I would have never
got the
guessed
notes.
this is the one because I didn't even mention it. But if you want to know who I actually have in the FanDuel single entry as my four-man stack, it's Arizona.
Okay.
So there you go. But I would not tell you that that's my favorite stack because it's not.
Would you tell me your favorite stack?
I would say it's the Yankees.
Okay, great. TJ, what is your favorite stack?
So interestingly enough, the FanDuel single entry series is my only lineup that isn't a full stack in all my 151 lineups. But the stack I'm getting to the most is Houston. The one I like the best for tournaments to win it all is Toronto.
Excellent stuff. Okay, guys, we have 10 minutes for QQs. If you're just tuning in for a weather update, there's a low chance of a delay in Philly. There's officially a late start in Baltimore. I expect they're going to play in Baltimore. I just can't promise you that they will, but I love what I'm seeing on radar. The rain is basically already gone. It's gone. And I think it's unlikely that any rain builds back in. So I do think that they're going to play in Baltimore after that late start. Can't tell you 100%, but that's how I feel about it. Let's take some QQs. Let me see if we've got anything cooking here in the old Discord. DKGPP Cheese, do you like Gibson even more with no Soto and Bell to worry about?
Well, like that's the reason I like him. Like, you know what I mean? Like the reason he's in play is because of that. So I'm not sure how to even answer that question.
Right. We don't like.
It's
like
not like they got traded today. So
I
that's the reason we like him is because of what the lineup is.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yes, I guess.
Okay. Achilles, Crazy Coop says, are bats safe in Pittsburgh Orioles? I don't use that word. They're not safe, but I think they're going to play. Achilles says, DK Cash. This one's coming right back to Cheese. Rank this cheap nonsense. Takupita, Yadi Hernandez, Prato, Rayleigh, and Vavra. I know like one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's some weird names. I like Yadi Hernandez. And something you're going to notice if you haven't already, I like Kyle Gibson, and I like at least 3 cheap nationals, and that is not a mistake. That's what I like.
Okay, great. All right, let's kick this over to TJ here. TJ, any love for Sandoval versus Seattle? This question coming in from Jay Frey in the Discord.
I understand it. He projects decently if you're trying to pivot off the chalk. Me personally, I'm it's a lock button Robbie Ray day for me. People are asking about the Spidey bomb in chat. First one was Vladdy Guerrero. If we get to 175 likes, I'll discount it. We'll get the second one.
Okay, that should be easy enough. Hit that like button, guys. DK single entry. TJ, right back at you. Dodgers stack with a KC mini stack. Is that a viable single entry play? Actually, he says a good single entry play.
I like it.
Excellent. ProShare says, I'm disappointed in Cheese. No mention of the Carpenter revenge narrative.
Well, there's no revenge. Carpenter loves St. Louis. It would be the opposite of a revenge, but like he's almost certainly going to hit a home run.
An
but
appreciation bomb
on this slate, a home run doesn't really help you.
Yeah, it's appreciation narrative. I like that.
Yeah.
BHB, DK Cash, Cheese, Duran or Peralta?
Duran.
Okay, TJ, 2 coming your way. FanDuel Cash, Devers and Gamble or Bregman Mullins?
I don't think you should play Pittsburgh-Baltimore games in cash, so I think you should probably try and find something different. But the second one, I guess, if you're set on that.
Okay. Is it because of the weather that you don't think you should?
Yeah, just based on cash, like, I don't know if I would. You would?
I think I would.
Then there you go. Then it's the first one for me.
Yeah, I think it's
going
to
work. The second one, the Mullins Bregman one.
Gotcha. I just I'm kind of amazed at how quickly that storm just gone. NBA DFS says, oh, sorry, no, I just took that one. FanDuel Cash Punt. This is coming to you, TJ. Peralta or Casti?
I think projections are going to say Castellanos, but I like Peralta better.
Okay.
I like Peralta a lot today.
All right. Raymond, FanDuel GPP, Cheese. Who do you like better, Betts or Judge? This is when you say yes.
Right. Like this. That's what this slate is. I mean, Judge, but I mean, yes, flip a coin.
Yeah. All right. DK Cash, Cheese, Ruiz or Caratini at catcher? That's a blast from the past. I haven't heard that name in a while. Ruiz or Caratini? And is it worth paying up at second for Lau if it means giving up Alvarez or a Schwarber?
I prefer Ruiz. And yes, I think Lau is a bigger edge over his position than Alvarez and Schwarber, even though they're better straight up versus Lau. So yes, go to Lau.
Okay. Dan Jan says, TJ, DK single entry. Who's the low-owned stack that's going to win it all?
Blue Jays.
ProShares, DK GPP, Cheese. I believe you mentioned the Yankees were your favorite stack, correct?
Yes.
Who are your favorite core players for the Yankees?
So just in general, Yankees and the whole slate in particular, because it's so spread out, I don't think you need to get cute within the stacks. You can just play your best players. So I'm going to say it's Judge, Rizzo, Torres, Donaldson, Carpenter. Like just play the 5 guys in the middle and you're done. 5 guys. That sounds delicious.
I also want to get in there quick. My second team for the answer for sneaky stacks to win it all is the Dodgers.
Okay. Aside FanDuel single entry, Cheese, 2v2 Schwarbs Gurriel or Yelich Melendez?
Say that one more time.
It was FanDuel single entry 2v2 Schwarbs Gurriel or Yelich Melendez.
Schwarbs Gurriel.
You see how I'm keeping you guys on your toes now? I'm not even alternating. You never know who's going to get the question. Yeah. DK single entry. TJ, this was coming to you. DK single entry GPP, full Padres or full Rays stack. Where would you go?
Full Rays, I guess, because I have a lot more of them, but full Padres sounds like a much better answer.
Okay. CH1 says, Cheese, is Nicky Lopez looking good at short, or is it the 6 light beers and 2 edibles?
I don't know if I understand if there's more to the question than should I play Nicky Lopez?
That's it, pretty much.
I would not. I don't have him anywhere.
He's basically asking, does he have beer goggles thinking that Nicky Lopez is good?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You got the Nicky Lopez beer goggles. J Sam's FanDuel GPP's Cheese. Who's more appealing? Fourth guy in Houston. Who's the more appealing? I get it. Who's the most appealing fourth guy in Houston stacks after Mancini, Alvarez, and Bregman? Is it Pena or McCormick?
It's Pena.
Okay.
It's
Matt
Altuve,
Hack.
but out of those, it's Pena.
Okay. Matt Hack asking about a Padre stack. TJ, you mentioned them. You're like, it's fine.
They're just expensive, and so that's kind of why it's hard to get to them, but they're also fantastic. Like, I would never tell you not to play Juan Soto and Manny Machado.
Okay, great. TJ, DK upside question. Yadi Hernandez or Prato?
Probably Hernandez.
Okay, Cheese, DK GPP from DY. Who's the better lefty-lefty matchup? Who's got the better lefty-lefty matchup, Freeman or Ohtani?
Freeman is the better matchup. Ohtani's the better individual player on his own, but as far as which lefty pitcher gives a better matchup to the lefty hitter, it's goes to Freeman.
Okay. Timmy Tebow's got a DK cash question for you. Cheese, Acuna or Turner raw points?
Assuming that's Trey Turner, I would Trey Turner.
Okay, great. TJ, FanDuel single entry Soto or Cheese's boy Carp?
Soto.
FanDuel cash, TJ, 2v2 Alex Thomas and Hoskins or Vinny P and Mullins?
Hoskins and the first one.
Okay, great. Cheese, DK from Mirage. I've got 2 one-offs, Farmer and Suarez with a Brave stack, which omits Riley and Swanson. Is this a pretty dumb move? I've got plenty of time to pivot. Also, hope all is well, as he always likes to add in.
I mean, the Braves are deep enough. I wouldn't call it dumb. Personally, I would really want to get Riley in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't call it dumb. I mean, that lineup is deep enough to have 5 guys that don't include those 2.
Great. Okay, Cheese, making your work here. Util, FanDuel cash, best player 2,400 or under?
My first answer is Vinny P. Let me scroll and see. 2,400, you say? Yeah, I would Vinny P. You could do Alec Thomas as well, but I would Vinny.
He would Vinny P.
Okay. Steve O says, TJ, I've got a lot of Bumgarner tonight. Am I dumb Garner? That's good.
Yes.
That.
You're a fool.
Do you, Cheese, any interest in Bumgarner or is that dumb Garner?
Nah, I didn't get there. I hope that's only a DK question. It's not truly the worst thing in the world because of his price, but I'm not playing any.
Okay, great. Let's see. I've got a Crazy Coop says, Cheese, I've got an uncomfortable amount of cheap pitchers and release the hounds with my bats. Is that viable tonight? Are either of you doing that tonight? I know TJ is not doing that.
I have a few of those. I think it's fine. I really don't think it's super likely that pitcher wins this slate.
Okay. Vic Nostrom, DK GPP. Coming up on lock, TJ, Matt Olson or Josh Bell?
Olson.
Did I get an answer? I'm sorry.
Olson.
Okay, excellent. Bean or FanDuel GPP. Is Trevino viable in a FanDuel GPP, Cheese?
In a stack, sort of.
Okay.
Definitely not outside of a stack.
And can you play Carpenter and Alvarez together in a FanDuel GPP?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Why not? Why not? Let's see. We've hit the lock. Caught up on the questions in the old Discord. Gonna hop on over here. Matt says, I've been sitting here all day and I didn't even know Mad Bum was pitching. That's not great. Not ideal. Someone says, Roth, you got monkeypox or COVID? Neither. It's a crazy time. I have strep, which I guess is better. I don't know.
Well, they know how to treat that. That's
right. They just gave me a bunch of penicillin, and so I feel like I'm gonna bounce back in a hurry. Hey, with that, I think we got to get on out of here because my kids have strep as well, and so they're not having a great time. So for Cheese and for TJ and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.